Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the recovery addict, and boy, do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
Got the wrong guy. The dog was biting him.
He roughened him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
9 out of 10 judges prefer watching the Recovery Addicts live stream in their courtroom.
The fireworks are not done.
Now we're getting commentary on the case. Dati mihi Anglican, praise verbis Latinus.
Boom, I nailed it, guys. I did it. Good morning, good Monday morning. I'm like 2 minutes late, but I did everything in the right order on the open this morning. That might be a first. Maybe that means it's going to be a great week. I sure hope so. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. To all of you, welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict. It is so good to have you here with us. It's going to be a fantastic week this week. I'm calling it right now. We had a good beginning. I think I'm ready. Oh, man. Let's see. I'm not. I thought I was ready, but I'm not. Let's see. First of all, Janet Yost, congratulations. I don't know, Janet. Are you a first-time offender as far as winning the internet goes? Is this your first time? If so, congratulations. And you naughty, naughty person, you. Congratulations for being first in chat. As a punishment, we will give everything IP-related worldwide will be bestowed upon you. You have rights and responsibilities for everything internet-related across the world. Thank you, Janet, for being first in chat. Congratulations as well. Wonderful to have you here first. All right, we have a ton of people here, and I missed a couple. Oh, no, I did. Man. Brittany Hit. Brittany Hit, does that work? Brittany, there you go. Thank you. Welcome to the gallery, first of all. I missed someone else this morning. Someone else, it was on the screen, and it just disappeared because I took too long. And I feel awful right now. That's not what's supposed to happen. Please forgive me. I
was kicked back, taking it easy.
Something happened membership-wise. I think it was someone's comment or something, and it disappeared. Brittany, thank you so much. Good to have you here. Wonderful. We have too many people to do a roll call is what we have. So we're going to pick up right now, and I'm going to go backwards. Does that work? So I'm going to scroll backwards. So I'm going to give you about 15 seconds to put your hands up in chat, and then I'm going to stop. And wherever we stop, we're going to go back and call roll for the people who have their hands up as far as I can, and we'll just have to call it good at that point. Everyone else will just have to type exclamation point late, even if you were here early. I know it's an unfair system, but sometimes that's the way it works. Hang on. Amanda Cunningham says, Recovery Addict, yesterday I hit 5 years clean. Oh, and then my future law student daughter wrecked her car. Congratulations on the first part. I am so sorry about the second. Sometimes it seems like every time we take a step forward, life comes and knocks us back. But Amanda, 5 years is amazing. Congratulations. That is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go ahead and pause the hands, and then I'm going to roll backwards to call the roll. So here we go. I've never done it backwards before, so let's see if this works. All right. Pause right here. Here we go. Breezy B, you're rolling with 7. Welcome, Ann Schatcher, Tori Gillespie, Nikki M, CC, Bonnie Cifuentes. Bonnie, welcome. GK, Golden Girl, Andy Logan, welcome. Janique Lynch, welcome. Des is here taking a seat. Tony as well. Collie 05, the Scarred Owl. Good morning to the Philly 501. Randy Rabbit, you're here as well. Cass Covotes. Oh man, I don't know how to say this one, Cass. Might need a pronunciation guide, and even then, I might not get it right. I do apologize. Beth, good morning to you. Nancy D. Jackie D. Back to back. Wonderful. May, good to have you as well. Lisa, Meanie Banana is here. Good to see you this morning. Kim S. Patches, Michelle Stark, Bonnie Cifuentes, I see you there. Angelina Knox, Helen Rowe, Jill Martin, Angelos Rowe is changing phones, but you'll be here in a minute. LAG, welcome LAG. Eileen Thurling, Anna is here. Samantha Venegas, Carol Gerald, Excited Utterance, Jane Doe, Janique Lynch, Lorena QR, KH in South Carolina is here. Stephanie Waltz, Kelly White. This is really hard on my brain to go backwards. I'm so used to scrolling down. Let's see if this works. Richard on a Globe is here. Gert, Yo Mama is here. Tiffany Drake, Debbie Ramirez, GK, Emily Dawn, Rena Marr, Salty, Scott Imming. Good to have you here, Scott. Sorry, I need to click properly. This mouse is wearing out. I'm clicking too much on it. Kitty Kitty Bang Bang is in the house. Deja Vu, the giant that makes all the rules, is also here. Is it not showing up the way it should? My mouse might be dying. I apologize. Christine C. Bonnie, I think we got you earlier. Mary Kay, Laura Olson, Tony Reed, Promise Roca. Randy says, I will say hello to my soul, don't elf, so I won't feel bad if you miss. I think Randy was saying, I'll say hello to myself if I miss you. But the spell check got your comment and ate it. So sorry. Randy Rabbit, welcome. Good to have you here. Arkansas Magnet Fisher is here. Welcome. I have to say, we had Matthew Harris sent me a link this morning to an article. It's a funny little article from its Facebook account called Arkansas Game and Fish or something like that. It is a parody account, but they make up funny stories about things that happen in Arkansas related to wildlife. And he sent me a funny one about a lady who was illegally capturing deer fawns and raising them and training them up to attack hunters and steal electronics or something like that. And it was a funny little article. It was a great way to kick off the morning. Made me think of Arkansas a little bit. Lael is here. Car 22956 is here. GK, Tamara Colon, Sheris Wag, CMH 3874, Dinah Do 420, Dodie Sweeney, Mummy S, Lou W, Brittany Cannon, Lisa Bella, Polly Prissy Pants. Is going to be slow down chat. Is it going super fast? It's going fast for me, I can tell you that. Let's see. Okay, we're going to slow it down just a little bit. Just a little bit by... And by a little bit, I mean, let's try this. Now, this is not a punishment. For those of you who just got the message on your screen saying chat is now going slowly, it wasn't because you did anything wrong. It wasn't because we don't want to hear from you. It's because we want to hear what you say, and we want it to stay on our screen long enough that we can read it before it scrolls up and off the screen. So please indulge us in our effort to slow down chat so we can see what people are talking about. Tam Hernandez is here. Amanda Ray says, recovered addict, and everyone, good morning. Never been this early. Amanda Ray, it's wonderful to be early. Britta Aller is here. Missy Baker, Brooke Nellius. Something happened this morning to have a fabulous week, says Michael Lecart. Wonderful. Hopefully it did for you as well. First of all, my whole open went well. And it usually doesn't do that. Usually I push the wrong button at some point, or let's see. Yep. So we're good. We're good all over the place. Usually I mess up the audio or leave myself muted or something. Margaret Schlegel, welcome. Jen D, Lindsay Bay, Rosie Tulips. Good morning from Alabama. Marilyn Skull, Shireen. Backwoods Nation is here. Mighty Heidi's in the house. Lisa Wilmot. Lisa, good to have you. I think your sister probably is here as well, but she's shy. We'll teach her. MSS Love, Mrs. Love, is that what it is? Or Miss Love. Tanya Hoagland, Nikki M, Desiree Abreu, T. Renee S, Jennifer Van Aswagen says that may be me about the membership. Jennifer, wonderful. Thank you very much. Let It Be Summer is here. Black Beauty, Michelle Ara, Leanne Costello, Christine C, Sharon Rhonda, Gleaves H says, it's me. Good morning, Van. Good to have you here early as well. Lisa Dempsey, Karen Dietrich, GK, Hope S, Horse Tea and Bananas. I think I like this better. I love that you changed your name to help me out with that, because I could never guess what the asterisk was. But Horse Tea and Bananas is, I think, what it was all along. Sleuths Investigate is here. Cope and Whiskey and G, Lexa Fulmer, Kat Langton, Laura Olson, Adrian Cameron Parks, welcome. Kelly J, Variety Davidson, Marina Girl, Janique Lynch, Holly Henderson, William Fagan, Sarah Bailey. I think I'm getting up to the top where the hands started getting raised here. Diana Do 420. Tamara, we got you earlier there as well. Trials and Sweets, Hope. Dallas born, Boston bred is here. Kelly Sorry, Carrie B. Why can I not say Carrie B? There's nothing hard about your name, Carrie. And this morning, for some reason, it's not coming out. I apologize. Welcome, Carrie B. Good to have you here. Tina's 827. A flower in the morning sun is here. KVJ is here. Michelle Johnson. Lynn Hoke. Helen Rowe, good morning to the UK from the US. Gordon, welcome. Scarred Owl. Andrew C. Sharon McDonald. Eggs and spam. Spam's good. Hollyberry. Dutchy, Breeze B, Lux Lobos. I will say, on the topic of spam, I do eat spam, but never at home. I only eat it when I'm camping, because apparently, if you get hungry enough, everything is good. So sorry if I offended anyone about who absolutely loves spam, but for me, it just has to be something that I only eat when there aren't other options. Deja Vu, welcome, Missy Baker, sorry. Let's see, Gabby Gabs, Adrian Appleby Bernez. What? Why is my sound not working?
Farming Simulator Pro just sent a super sticker with 10.
Farming Simulator Pro, thank you so much. If you guys, let me just give a shout out to Farming Simulator Pro. Farming Simulator Pro has a YouTube channel as well, where he shares, or she shares, because I don't know which one you are. I think it's a he. Shares videos of farming and running tractors. And this simulator is the most realistic game I've ever seen for farming, and it's the most relaxing experience. There's nothing like driving a tractor across acres and acres of land and plowing land and seeding it and fertilizing and weeding and harvesting and baling and then hauling it off to dump into the train yard. It is such a fun job. I realize anyone who's a farmer would probably not play it, because like, this is just life. Like, why would I play a game that's life? But for those of us that aren't farmers, it is so much fun. I love it. Anyway, Farming Simulator Pro, also a huge supporter of the channel. Thank you so much for the super sticker this morning to kick things off. Pampered Glamper, also in the house. Vinny's mom, Sandra Vital, welcome. Deneen Schiaroni, did I say that wrong? Deneen, welcome. Christy Busby, Kat Costello, Carol Gerald, Buffybot, Linda H. Buffybot, the pains of popularity. This is a big trial. It's a big trial. A lot of people have a lot of interest in it, so that's wonderful. Spicy Lady is here. Sarah Moore. I think I'm pretty much caught up. I think I got to the top of the hats. Missy Baker, or the hands. Sorry, Missy Baker, Dawn, Eggs and Spam. I think we're good. Before it disappears, I have to recognize Carrie Arnold says, time flies when you're addicted to trials. Congratulations on the 1-month membership. Notice you got a new a courthouse color next to your name. Thank you so much for continued support.
Back, taking it easy.
Okay, so now I scroll down to the bottom, and there's probably a million more people that I missed. Let's see. There are probably a bunch of people that I haven't met yet, because about 200 of you subscribed over the weekend, and that is awesome. So hopefully some of you are here in chat. I was just going to take a peek and see where we are numbers-wise, because it's always fun to share that with you. Let's see. I can do that right there. This is where we are at 15,967, which means probably this morning we might hit the 16,000 number, which is mind-blowing amazing. It still does not make sense to me. You guys are amazing. It's wonderful. This has been so much fun. Okay, Bobby Hansen, we got you. Let's see. I don't know who was it Red Pen? Red Pen, are you in the house? Uh-oh, there's a buffer, which means I probably missed a birthday, and it's probably Christie's. Just guessing here. Let's see. Where's the buffer? Shireen says, yep, new subscriber and on Discord, which is awesome. Do we know how many witnesses today? I have not seen the list for today. We might need some sleuths to dig that up for me. Where's the buffer? I saw there was a birthday. I really did. I saw
dead horse go unbeaten.
Let's see. Looking buffer. There it is. It is Krista's birthday. I knew it. I saw briefly in chat. If there's anyone else's birthday, you need to own up right now, because this is the time. So this is one of those moments where you sit down with your lawyer and you have to tell them the truth. Okay, so if it's your birthday, consider me your lawyer. You've got to tell me the truth. I am not your lawyer, by the way. Any advice I give you is not legal advice. And I probably would, have second thoughts about following it anyway. But
I was kicked back, taking it easy.
Michelle Newton, welcome. Let's
About stuff that is not relevant.
I do that. Let's see if there's anybody else that has a birthday today. If not, we're just going to sing for Krista, which is great. I have no problem just singing for one person. Let's see. I'm not seeing anything else in chat. I have to commend you for pronouncing all those names. I couldn't do it. Variety, the reason it works is because for some reason, after like 3 or 4 reminders, I tend to get things right. It's generally not the first try, but several people have helped me with pronunciation guides, and I try to. I like it when people say my name correctly, and I have one of those hard last names. I'm not going to share it with you here because then you'll all have to try to learn it, but. I like it when people say my name right, and what I try to do is say their name right as well. I think it's important that when I'm talking to somebody or about someone that we mention them properly. So that's what I try to do. What time does trial start? We start in about 43 minutes. Let's see.
I'm not a camel.
Okay, I think we're close. I don't see any other birthdays. Carrie says, can you see me? I can see you, Carrie. Welcome. Good to have you here. Jennifer Van Aswagen, if you had a gifted membership, they last for a month. And then if you're regifted another membership, it will pick up right where you left off. So YouTube remembers your previous support. So that's not a problem, and that's just how it works. Gerda D, welcome to the gallery. Good to have you as a member. And I think we got Michelle Newton already. If not, thank you, Michelle, as well. Okay, what is on your bingo card today? Dutchy, let me tell you, actually, it's not on my bingo card, but let me tell you, I was talking about Red Pen. I think Red Pen is in the house. I think it was Red Pen that told me about another YouTube channel, a guy who goes by the name of Dr. G. Dr. G is a clinical psychologist and behavioral analyst. He's done a video about Letecia Stauch, and we made contact after I watched his video and he watched my video, and he reached out to me, I think, and I responded. We're trying to line something up where we can bring him on. It will probably be, if it works for his schedule, because he's also practicing. So he's got clients and things that he has to see. If it works with his schedule, we're going to try to do it around lunchtime. So we might, yes, Dr. G explains. We're trying to get that lined up for this week, depending on his schedule. So I've got my fingers crossed. I will tell you, I watched his behavioral analysis, and it was so spot on. He talks about he took the video where Letecia was talking to the news reporter, the one where she was facing away from the camera, and he just and he could draw so much out of so much out of every little motion she was making. I'm like, this makes sense to me. And it was just incredible. I love the way he breaks it down, as well as just being a clinical psychologist and being able to look at her behavior, say like in the courtroom, and talk about the insanity plea and maybe what that might look like in the case, or what symptoms we might see from someone who was insane, or how that might exhibit. I just think that'll be a fun discussion to have, not just for us, because it'll be very insightful. We'll be able to use that going forward. But I'd love to introduce you to his channel if you haven't, and maybe share that. So. Anyway, we've got our fingers crossed. He's probably seeing clients right now, so I don't blame him. He has a real job, so he can't watch us all day, but he did say he watched a few hours and enjoyed what he saw, so that'll be great. And Red Pen, thank you so much. I think it was you that maybe made that connection with us. Okay, so we have Christy and Danae. Danae Bird.
Go unbeaten.
Christy, Danae Bird. There's another buffer sound. So Lisa, is it Lisa and your mother? Okay, do we have 4? I'm going to need a pen here, because I'm going to forget.
I was kicked back, taking it easy.
Okay, I'm scribbling notes frantically. Is it Lisa's birthday as well? Who is that again? It's Dr. G Explains is the YouTube channel we're working on to see if we can get him on the show. Obviously, I want to be as respectful as I can to his time, and with us covering the court, there's really very few opportunities to bring him on during the show, because the court runs, so it's either going to be early in the morning or it would probably be lunchtime. So we're going to try to work out a good time. He just goes by Dr. G Explains. Dr. G right here. I'll have links and everything up for that. But thank you. Okay. Hey, Michaela, welcome. Good to have you here. I think where's Lisa? Where's Lisa's, Lisa and your mom? Okay. I think it's time to do the birthday. It's 4 people, so I don't think I can sing everyone's name in the pause. just don't think I can. I don't think I can fit it all in. Okay, is Mrs. Ari going to sing with me? Oh, she says no. Are you taking that now? Okay. All right. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Kristen, today. Lisa and Lisa's mom. Birthdays today. Happy birthday to you. Okay, that was pretty bad. It was pretty bad, but I tried to fit them all in. It was. You know what I need now? I need some throat. Some throat therapy. And Mrs. Ari made me some hot chocolate this morning. Oh my goodness, that is delicious. Okay, there are a few things I love in life. Spicy maple bourbon pickles and Stevens Gourmet hot chocolate are two of my favorites. This is delicious. So please remind me to drink all this before it gets cold. All right. Happy birthday, everyone. For those that have birthdays today, thank you so much for sharing your birthday with us. It's your special day. I know there's a million places you could be at. I'm honored that you choose to spend it here with us. Michaela, hello. Let's see. Who do we have here? We have Jeanette Brighton. Welcome to the gallery, as well as, wait for it, Jeanette Brighton again. Says you've joined twice. Maybe you just wanted 2 reserved seats. I don't know how that worked. My system might also be making mistakes, but good to have you here. Thank you very much. All right. They also have Stevens Hot Cocoa is the best. It does not get better than that as far as hot chocolate goes. And realize I like creamy hot chocolate, that just rich hot chocolate. And this is made with water. I don't know how they do it. I thought you'd have to do like steamed milk to really get the flavor I like, but they managed to do it. They said on Friday they're having 3 people coming in from the East Coast, didn't say whom, and someone from Hawaii is testifying this week. Yes, Sleuths Investigate. Thank you so much for that. I'm curious who's coming in from where. But a couple from the East Coast and I think is an expert from Hawaii, because really nothing really happened in Hawaii relating to this case. That would be the Lori Vallow case that they brought something for that. All right. When the prosecution has been questioning witnesses and asked them about LS, if LS has referred to herself by a different name, are they making up those names? Meggles, I think in conversations she's had to other people, she's talked about how she sort of played her hand a little bit and said, these are my other personalities and I refer to myself as this. So she's sort of laying the foundation with other people to say, remember how I have this medical condition where I think I'm different people. I think that's what she's doing. And so the prosecution has this information and is sort of preemptively playing their card to counter that. Lisa Wilmot says, check out the novelty LS trial bingo card I made on Discord. LOL Chambers chat. Stranger things have happened. Lisa, it sounds like you've hopefully you've got some really crazy things out there that just might happen. Order some Stevens Hot Cocoa from Amazon. It's the bomb, says Pamper Glamper. I love it. It's wonderful. Useless trivia from Kitty Kitty Bang Bang, always appropriate. The term peanut gallery originates from the Old South U.S., where minorities had to sit in a separate area in the courtroom. I did not know that. I always thought it was related to like the cheap seats or maybe circus life. Thinking like The Greatest Showman, where they talk about, peanuts on the floor and stuff like that. But the gallery makes sense. Thank you. Margaret Inman, welcome to the gallery. Thanks for joining. All new members, if you didn't know, get reserved seating at the front row. And all you have to do to claim your reserved seat if you're a member, and you're a member because your name appears in green on the screen when you type, you just type !seat, and you'll be able to just move right up to that reserved seat. Get a front row view. Okay. Good afternoon, Wendy. It's good afternoon. It's afternoon for you, so it sounds like you were across the pond from us at least. And everybody else, great channel. And yep, did the like button as well. Thank you, Wendy. Thanks for being here. I've got to get just an item or two ready for court this morning. Chirp. I heard that chirp. So bear with me just 1 minute. Switch that to there. See where my audio's going. There we go.
Bring the jury.
Got one more device to power up here. So I guess I wasn't completely ready this morning.
Subject matter jurisdiction.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
All right. Now they're all popping up the way they should. Okay. Where are we? So we got Margaret. Thank you so much, Margaret, for membership. Just turn off the audio. Hey, guess what we have? We have a courtroom view currently. Let's see if they'll keep it up here long enough for me to put it on screen.
I don't consent to that name.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. Okay. So here's what we have right now. Looks like nobody's in the courtroom. So we're waiting. They left the camera on for us, which is great. I'm hoping, I'll keep an eye on this because I'd like to see if they leave the camera on for when they bring Letecia in. That hasn't been something they've shown previously, and it's not something that the judge has prohibited us from showing. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that to you as it happens if they do. But it looks like they're still just playing with the video. Okay. Let's see if we can take camera 7 instead. Or, let's see, this is... We'll watch this one for just a minute. All right. If that disappears, we'll switch back to the other view. Shout out to the 13th juror. Very entertaining. Adrian Cameron Sparks. Brandy Churchwell and JT do an amazing, amazing job. I know they had a great guest on yesterday from Defense Diaries. It was awesome. I was able to catch a good portion of that, even though I was sort of, dovetailing, working two things at the same time. But that was wonderful. If you have not followed Brandy Churchwell's channel, just type !Brandy in chat here. That's spelled Brandi. And it'll go ahead and put her link up on chat, and you can click that to follow her. You will not regret it. She's following very closely. Obviously, she often watches trial here during the day, and she's also following closely the Lori Vallow trial. And in the evenings, she's doing her podcast live video with JT to follow the Lori Vallow, and you get to listen to the audio with her. It is probably the best place ever to do that, and the community is absolutely amazing. You will, as far as listening to trials go, you will never have more fun than doing that over there with her. Linda says, my life has been taken over by a recovery addict guy from the UK. Linda, make sure you take time for yourself. You're the most important person. I'm glad you're here, but don't get unbalanced. Let's see. Hello, fellow courties. Welcome.
Are we going to address subject matter jurisdiction?
We probably recould. Lisa M says, recovery addict and everyone, good morning. Happy birthday to those celebrating today. Can I just say what an awesome human you are, taking time to connect with your listeners? You're a good man. I have the best community on the internet, and it's not me that did that. It's you guys that are just awesome. Okay. Courtrooms showing up. This is entertaining. I wish we had audio, but let's see. No audio yet from the courtroom. Okay, good morning, Texas Val. Good to have you here. Brandy Churchwell says I'm here during the day and on my channel at night. I don't know when she sleeps. I don't know when JT sleeps. And considering what they're doing all day and how amazing of a program they put out at night, it's mind-boggling. I would not be able to do what they do. They are fantastic. Oh man, we lost our feed. I knew it was too good to last. We'll keep an eye on it, though. If it comes back, we'll take it there. Okay, this can go down. Don't need that anymore. Okay, here we go. Okay, more interrogators video today. Yes, Kim, we have. There was a 5-hour interrogation video that we are following, and we've only seen about 3 hours of it, roughly.
There's a lawsuit.
Yeah, there's a lawsuit. It has been quite interesting, but it's been entertaining as well because they're breaking it down into bits, and there's still some questioning going on. The witness that they're questioning, the detective that did the interrogation or participated in it, has walked like 3 miles back and forth from the witness stands down to the gallery as he goes up and down and up and down and up and down. So he's getting his steps in. I probably should as well. I've been debating getting a standing desk with a treadmill underneath it. Seriously, because I sit for too long every day. I need to be mindful of my health. I missed Sunday with Brandy and JT Brews. I will be catching up soon. Wonderful, Samantha. That's what I love about them posting all the videos. We can catch up. Jeanette Brighton, did I thank you already? I can't remember if your name popped up already, but thank you very much for becoming a member. I think I did, but you deserved thanks twice. Maybe your name is going to stay up all day because I think there were 2 of them. Bella says, I caught up over the weekend, all of Fridays and weather watches and recovery at Friday's show. I loved your comments in chat.
Rosie from Tucson just sent a super sticker with 10.
Rosie, thank you so much for the super sticker. Wrecked. Appreciate your support. You are another amazing supporter of the channel. Thank you so much. And love the super sticker. I'm just a small fish. He's not a detective. He's the FBI guy, Matrix guy. Yes, Cindy, sorry. I think he was former FBI, right? I think he's like retired or moved on to another career. Is this the guy that's now like a principal? Oh, my phone is ringing and it's Amber. Hold on one second. Amber, are you there?
I'm here.
It is so wonderful to hear you. I know you've had lots of life things happening. It's good to have you back this morning. How's your stress level?
Yes. I don't think it can be measured right now.
Because it's so small, right? It's just not a care in the world.
I mean, it's much better than it was last week, but let's just say I'm so happy to be back.
That was wonderful. We'll take it easy on you. There's only 2,200 people in chat right now, so it's not as hectic as it gets a little later in the day. But
you know what? Even with me handling the real life stuff, I've still had my mods back.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you're back. Is there anything happening this week that you're super excited for, as far as this court goes, or in life in general?
On what the crap this Cash Baby thing is that I'm seeing so much about.
You missed Cash Baby.
I haven't caught up yet. So
you missed Baby Money Bump. This is good stuff. You missed an incredible day. What day was that? Was that
I was kicked back.
Was that Thursday? Oh my goodness. Amber, I'm gonna excuse you from attendance for the rest of today. You need to go back and watch what happens. It's so worthwhile. Okay, what happens? We got another story from Letecia. Okay, she's telling yet another story to Al. This is the final phone call. It might have been Tuesday. I'll have to check. We'll have to look. But yes, the final story she tells Al on the phone calls was that she was driving to the store and I'm not sure if she didn't know Gannon was in the car. It's some weird thing. She's driving to Petco and some woman who's really pregnant, like 8 months pregnant, like flags her down and gets in the car. And she's like she looks like she's about to pop or something. I forget what her terminology was, but it turns out she didn't know that, Letecia didn't know, but she wasn't actually pregnant. She was wearing a fake belly filled with money. And I think the story is, you don't get all the pieces that connect to the cars. It's like just random train cars on random tracks. So we're trying to put it together, but it sounds like what she's trying to say is this lady is trying to force her to deliver this money and maybe some other papers to a Mexican restaurant for the cartel. And that's why Gannon is missing. It was insane. It was, oh my goodness. It was straight out of some news story. Actually, you can there's a news story that talks all about smuggling money in through Mexican restaurants, and something else about fake pregnancy bellies. It's unreal. And chat was on point. It was the best. I'm not sure which was better, to listen to her tell this absurd story or just read chat and try to follow the comedy that was happening there. It's like, how do I get a money baby? I'm up for that. Who would be the daddy, sort of thing. The conversations were hilarious. It was worth every moment. So you have to go back. I'll give you a pass for today. You've got to find that.
Well, I don't want to skip any more of court, like live court, to catch up. So I'm gonna because then I feel like I'm even more behind. So I'll get caught up probably this evening after we get done with court for the day.
Okay.
And I'll start with like lunch breaks and stuff too, trying to get caught up.
Well, take it
But
easy. I know real life comes first, right? Real life comes first. Make sure you take care of you first, and then if you're able to join us, that would be great. You will not regret time spent catching up on Cash Baby, and the thruple. We've got the thruple in there too as well. So don't forget the threesome. Yeah, it was. We had. It was a day and a half. I don't know how else to. Adam Nusky says, "I'm a financial midwife."
There's no court on Thursday, so it had to be Friday.
Friday morning, baby. It was the money, baby. Okay, yes. I forget. I forget that we don't have court on Thursdays. Oh yeah, it was good. The supreme level of chat that day. You were going to find some friends. Some of these people in chat, Amber. Let me just tell you, their comedic value is off the charts. Their timing is incredible. I was dying laughing. Everyone else was dying laughing. The judge's reactions with him leaning back in the chair, opening his eyes and peeking down at Letecia, just like she said, "What?" sort of thing. It was good.
Man, why did I have to be absent for like?
Oh, it's good the second time as well. So definitely put that on your playlist.
Yeah, but now I'm going to be behind, and I won't have all of you guys to enjoy it live with. That's all right. I'll have to. It's all good.
Yeah,
I'll get caught up. I promise.
We will. I probably am going to just cut that clip out, the whole Cash Baby clip, and make it sort of a standalone video, because so many people have asked questions about it. It'll be easier to find than trying to dig through the full day's live stream. So I'll try that.
Well, want me to get you timestamps while I'm?
If you get me a timestamp for the start, I think I can do the rest from there. That would be great. Friday is good enough. I mean, I think it was the very beginning of Friday, so I think we're an hour into the show. Start about 11, because trial starts at 11. We start the live stream at 10. So an hour into the show, they pretty much opened up with a few questions and then played that last phone call. So it's the very beginning. That should help you. Let's see. Oh, sweet. Hearing from Dr. G. We're going to hook something up with Dr. G on the channel as well. So we'll get him on as well. Okay. Amber, anything else?
Well, is there anything else I need to get caught up on other than that Cash Baby?
Cash Baby was the big one. I'm working on a Cash Baby emoji. I tried a couple. The only ones I have are sort of like pastel drawings of Cash Babies. I'll leave the ones that work because I want like the cash in their hands type thing. As a little cute baby holding the money. I'll work on that. We had Bitcoin pregnancies as well in chat. That was fantastic.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
It was good.
I'm in for it, apparently, on this catch-up.
Yep. Okay, we've got...
Well, in other news, if you're on the Discord, I have finally gotten a lot of these screenshots uploaded from the time that all of this happened in 2020 to the Discord page. So if you're over there, there are lots of different screenshots from when Letecia was posting on Facebook, when her mom was posting on Facebook, when she was getting called out on stuff. She also had a sugar baby profile.
Good stuff. So go over to Discord and check that out. That's the place to be to see all these documents. Discord, if you haven't been there, anytime you need information about a trial, anytime you need to catch up on a timeline or say, what happened back here, or just talk to somebody and say, I've got a question about XYZ in the trial, the Discord channel is exactly where to do that. So much information, so many incredibly smart people, and so many friends that you didn't know you ever had that are over there already just to welcome you. So highly, highly recommend Discord for you. All right, Amber.
All right.
You got your work cut out for you. All right.
Apparently.
After you watch
All right,
it,
y'all.
after you watch it, you have to call back in and tell us what you think. Okay.
Okay, we'll do. I'll do that.
Awesome. Good to have you back, Amber. Have a fantastic week.
Thanks. I'll see you guys in chat.
All right. Bye. All right. We are, let's see. I'm working on this. I see everyone saying Boss Baby is my vote. I'm in my program right now to create an emoji, and I'll do this here. I create it 10 times as large as it actually ends up, just because it's easier for me to work that way. We'll get this all set up. Let's see. Isn't this going to be over with this week? Alicia, I don't know. They said 6 to 8 weeks. We're on we're on day 13. We've taken basically a week off of Thursdays. So 1, 2, 3. We're on the 4th. Are we on the 4th or the 5th week? And it's supposed to be 6 to 8. So we're getting close to being done. It may have about a week left. We really don't know what's going to go as far as defense questioning witnesses on the tail end. I think it's going to be a lot longer, a lot more in depth. So we're close to being about a week to 2 weeks left, I think. We're now watching the birthing of a cash baby emoji. This is where it happens right here on the screen. So here's what. Let me show you which one I was going to go with.
Bring the jury.
Let's see. We've got this one right here. Okay, so see the baby right here on my screen? I could probably put it up full screen, but I'm just going to let you look over my shoulder. We put this one down here, and then we get some cash up on the screen as well. Cash money. This one looks good.
For the record, I don't consent to that name.
Oops, it's a little too big. There we go. Perfect. Okay, now I'm gonna share this. I'm gonna share this with you guys first, so you can let me know if you like it or if it works for you first. We need to enlarge a tiny bit and center it. There we go. We're going to download it and call this Cash Baby Bump. And now off to YouTube to upload. This is how easy it is to make an emoji. So if you guys have a suggestion, let me know. Memberships, perks, emojis. Add another emoji. Oh no. Am I out of emojis? We have a dilemma. I'm going to get rid of land to the plane. Is that all right? Because I'm only allowed to have 29 emojis right now. I would need 18 more members before they give me another emoji. And there's one right there. Maddie, welcome to the gallery. Thank you so much. YouTube ties the number of emojis I can create to how many members are on the channel.
Bring the jury.
So you need the hot chocolate. Do you need a link to the hot chocolate? It's Stevens Gourmet Hot Chocolate. It's probably cheaper to buy in your store than to buy on Amazon. But if you want an Amazon link, I can get that for you. Hey, your show from 420 is not on the playlist. When was 420? Was that? That's going to be a Thursday. That's why. The Thursday, there's no court on Thursdays. And so we put that in a different playlist somewhere. At least I should have. Okay. Sorry, I've got to. Are we okay with getting rid of the land to the plane? Let's see if there's another emoji. Maybe let's see, man bun. We've got ketchup. Elmo is good. I'm going to get rid of the sticker, the reserved sticker, because that's not one we use very much. So we're going to go with baby here. Cash baby. There we go. Oh. Cash baby, all one word. Change the image. Load that one up. Save and publish. Okay, Cash baby should be active. Right now, you might have to refresh your screen to get it to work, but go ahead and give it a try and see if it looks as good as you want it to be. And now I realize that the baby is running in the picture, so it's not really, it's more like a cash toddler. Sorry. It is becoming cold hot chocolate. Pardon me while I guzzle this. If I could take this intravenously, I think I would. It is that good. Oh my goodness. Okay, there's the cash baby. There it is. Does that work? Is that clear enough? All right. Yeah, I kept land the plane. I got rid of the sticky that said reserved. That was from the Zachary Anderson trial where the benches had little sticky notes on it to reserve them for different people. But that's not something we see a lot, and it wasn't used a lot, so got rid of it. It's fascinating to watch how YouTube works. That was it. That's how you create an emoji. And apparently I'm all done creating emojis. I can't make any more. Let's see. Let me go back here. All right, we have less than 15 minutes before court begins. Still no camera live, so we're waiting. Letecia will probably be present and earplugged up before we get there. Sarah Bailey says new trial in Florida starting this morning. Roommate murder romance. Ooh, sounds spicy. We'll have to take a look at that.
I was kicked back.
If you cannot find the Cash Baby, you need to probably refresh your screen. I think that's how it works. There's the sub count for those that are curious. Renee, we're 6 shy of 6,000. I think we might be there before court starts. How do you get the Cash Baby emoji? Hyper, it is one of the perks for membership. So if you're not a member right now, what I would recommend is typing !gifts in chat, and then make sure you go to the link that my bot responds with. Change your setting to accept gifts on this channel, and then if a membership is given, you could win it. And once your name is in green, you have access to the custom emojis. YouTube won't let me give out emojis unless to someone other than the member. It's just one of their restrictions on it. Shabusiness. I would like to follow Shabusiness. I really would. And look at that. As if on cue, Rockin' Dawkins gifts 5 memberships right now. So 5 more people are about to get the cash baby money emoji. Let's see. Those went to... Okay, it went fast. Let's see where it went. First one is Julie Brendel, Francis Watts, Sherry Marshall. Oop, it went fast. 420 Glitz GMA. And Vivian Anderson, all gifted memberships, and now I'll have access to the Cash Baby money emoji, as well as front row seats. You can't pass that. And Tony as well just gifted a membership that went to Ivan Victor. Ivan, it's good to have you in green again. I didn't know you had not been green. It was very brief, but Ivan, congratulations on that. Ivan's one of the great friend. Personally, he's a good friend of mine that I've met through this channel. We have a lot of communications outside of the channel as well. Really good guy, very passionate supporter of the channel, and we love him. So thank you so much, Ivan. Congratulations. Lost Souls Paranormal says, congrats on 16K road. We hit 16K. I wasn't even watching. Thank you very much. No, the party sound is off. It's too close. I'm even going to turn off the, if you pardon me for just a second. Let's see. I'm even going to turn off the cackle because trial's about to start. And so the funny, come on. Why is it not switching off the way I want? Oh, because I broke it. That's why. That's why it's not switching off. Okay, turn that off. We'll fix this here.
I'm not a camel.
I'm not a camel.
Bluebell just sent a super sticker with 4.99.
Bluebell, thank you very much for the super sticker. Let me put it up on screen in just 1 second here. Okay, cackle and funny are turned off. Now put this
I was
back
kicked back,
on.
taking it easy.
And Bluebell, thank you for the super sticker with the party sticker. Thank you, Bluebell. I appreciate that. Thank you for supporting the channel. Lost Souls Paranormal, thank you very much. Ilona says, so glad I'm here. Thank you very much. A member of the jury, you've got padded seat and a great view as well. Thank you for your support of the channel as well. Okay, just moments.
Jennifer Cardio just sent a super sticker with 1.99.
Jennifer is here on set, ready to go. Thank you, Knoxville Agent, as well, for being here. Appreciate that. I missed the Knoxville arraignment videos. If anyone knows if they're doing those again, let me know. I think they stopped live streaming them. Let's see. Linda Denton, welcome, says, yay, congratulations, Aria Drive. So much for work. It's so nice to have you and all the addicts make my day fly by. I'm glad you can take us on the drive and point us out the window so we can see. We'd like to see what you're passing. But thank you, Linda. Portland Trailblazers TV says, yay, happy on 16K. Portland Trailblazers, thanks for the continued support and the updated courthouse next to your name. Appreciate that. Mammy P, thanks for the kind words as well. The thing that makes this channel amazing is the people that are here watching. And I just have to say, I cannot thank you enough for being the kind of people you are that welcome new people when they show up. You're incredibly generous. You're incredibly kind. You guys are incredibly smart. Your insights, your questions, your analysis, it's a wonderful place to watch true crime. So thank you so much for doing that. Okay. Mrs. Brownstone says, 16K, I joined right before 12K just a short time ago. According to YouTube, the last 6,200 subscribers have come in the last month, which is amazing. It blows my mind. I honestly look at this and I can't fathom why or how this has happened. But all I can say is thank you. Appreciate it. Annie Pistol says, Recovery Act, I spend all day surrounded by court chatter and attorneys, and I still spend my free time watching yours. Quality. Annie, you'll have to call in and let us know. I'm sure you've got some stories. You've got some experiences that you can share, and maybe some you can't, but we'd love to hear from you if you so choose. Okay. Morning, Bay. Good to have you here. Just getting set for the morning. Lizzie Dog, you're awesome. So excited to found this channel. Welcome, Lizzie. I'm glad you found it as well. Wouldn't be the same without all of you here. This is a fun place to be. The gifts, they are sort of random. YouTube will choose them. I've been told, according to YouTube, they say that the system that gives out the gift memberships does consider levels of activity on the channel. So if you obviously you have to subscribe to the channel to receive a gift, or at least you have to turn the gift membership option on, and then people that do frequently talk in chat or will regularly participate are supposed to have a higher chance of winning the membership than someone who maybe is just a lurker. Because YouTube wants to reward people that want to interact and experience that.
Good morning, everyone. I am starting a new job today, so I will be in and out, but I'll get caught up on what I miss. Enjoy court today. So,
Allison Barnes, congratulations on the new job. I hope it is everything you want, and I hope they pay you everything and more that you're worth. Seriously, good luck there. Let us know if there's anything we can do to cheer you on and help you out. That is awesome. Starting a new job is both stressful and really exciting, and I hope it's wonderful for you. Tony says, I found you during ZA trial. You're just hitting 9,000. I'm not sorry. Best channel ever. Congrats on 16. Thank you, Tony. Does a membership cost? It does.
Smiling face with hearts, rough love. Dog face buttercup.
Let's see. Thank you, Bite Me, Rebecca. You're wonderful. Give Buttercup a pat for us. I think she's like our...
Court call 20 CR 1358, People versus Letecia Stauch record should reflect the jury's not present
Gaga
in the
Life
courtroom.
just sent a super sticker with 4.99.
Outside the presence of the jury at this point in time, prosecution?
Not that I'm aware of, Judge, only that
they started early.
Running the video through the podium here.
Okay. You should be fine to go. Defense?
No, Your Honor. The prosecution approached just a little while ago with some admitted exhibits that didn't match up with yours. I don't think we're going to have an objection to that as
okay.
The defense, but just give me a couple minutes. I think
sure.
We'll stipulate that they came in.
Okay. And I can check back too. I am like 99% positive that both of them came in.
I am too. So some of the stuff they showed me, I specifically remember coming in, like the Cellbrite Harley's phone and stuff like that. So I don't think it's going to be a problem, but I can just have a couple minutes.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And if necessary, we can check the record. I mean, we're talking about 48 pages of exhibit listings, and we're only off by 2 exhibits. That's pretty good.
I agree. Other than that, I don't have anything.
Okay.
Just a minute to get the Letecia cam set up.
And do we need to wait for Mr. Tellini?
No, we can start, Your Honor.
Okay. And do we have? And there's
this
Mr.
is a sneak
Grusing
peek
in the back.
But give me just one second here.
Okay. And do we have everybody? Okay. All right, then let's go ahead and bring the jury in.
Okay, so we're starting. I'm going to turn the audio down for the sound effects and the.
I will advise
any
lawyers.
super chats.
You know it as well as I do. We have an adverse weather event from tomorrow evening into Wednesday morning. I don't know whether that's going to impact on anything or not.
It looks like it's going to be mostly northern El Paso County, is at least the projections that I've seen.
Okay.
So at least as long as people can get downtown, we should be okay.
Yeah, and I don't know which of our jurors it may potentially impact, but I'll have a discussion with them about it.
Yeah. Rockies.
Yep. Gotta love Colorado.
All right, and here we go with our Letecia cam.
All right, for the jury, please.
The hair is a little, I wouldn't say it's frizzy. It does look a little fluffed out. A little bit of a wave to it. Might have been slightly curled. But it's definitely not like a Princess Leia look or the beehive hairdo we saw previously.
You may all be seated. Court will recall 20 CR 1358, People versus Letecia Stauch. Record should reflect the jury is present in the courtroom. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Couple of things. We anticipate that there may be an adverse weather event sometime. I think it's supposed to be tomorrow evening into Wednesday morning. So make sure two things. You have that contact information for me, my card, so that you know how to call us if you need to. Number two, if there's an issue or you're concerned or you have a question, 719-520-SNOW, and that will tell you if there is a delay here at the courthouse. If it says that there is a 2-hour delay, be here at 10 o'clock instead of 9 o'clock. So not 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock. That should resolve that issue. I think it's primarily supposed to get more of the mountains and North Palmer Divide. I don't know how many of you may be up near that area, so just keep an eye on that. And then I have the question that you've all heard before. Has anything occurred since we were last together that causes any of you to believe you could not continue to serve as a fair and impartial juror in this case? If so, please raise your hand. No response. All right, when we took our break on Friday, we were in the midst of testimony from John Grusing. I think that's where we're resuming.
Yes, Judge.
All right. Mr. Grusing, if you would resume your seat in the witness stand, I remind you, sir, that you're still under oath.
And we don't need it just yet, Judge, but at some point here in just a minute or so, we're going to need these screens turned on as well. Good morning, Mr. Grusing. Did you have a good weekend?
I did, thank you.
Good. When we last had you on the stand, we had just played the portion of the video where you're talking with the defendant about the board that was found up in southern Douglas County. Do you remember that portion?
Yes.
And you used a word in your question, thrown, and then you got quite a challenge from the defendant. Was that consistent where she would challenge you on things that were maybe peripheral?
Yes.
Can you give examples of that and what that meant to you during this interview?
Well, she used words like she was giving us keys, and then if I wasn't correct on my guesses, which I had asked her not to have me guess since I didn't know all the answers, she would get upset if I didn't guess correctly on whether it's Gannon's location or what she was doing when her phone was off, those sorts of things.
What do you mean by guesses? And give examples of what you mean when you use the word guesses.
So, especially during this later part of the interview when I was asking her about the blood, more than once she would say that if I knew enough about this investigation, I should be able to say either where Gannon is or more details about what was going on that I couldn't guess too. So it was an effective way really for her to not answer my question, and tell me that she knew things I didn't know.
Did that indicate to you fairly high intellect?
It did, and forward thinking, and that she knew that the questions that I was asking her would require a difficult answer, and so she was requiring the same out of me, something that was actually impossible for me to answer because I didn't know what she knew.
And as it relates to that, are you talking about Gannon's location at this particular time?
Yes.
Okay. Just after that portion of video where we were watching you asking her about the board with blood being found up in southern Douglas County, did you ask her, or I guess confront her with other pieces of evidence as well?
Yes.
All right. So the next section we're going to play is a shorter section. It's at 4 hours, 7 minutes, and 13 seconds through 4 hours, 10 minutes, and 13 seconds.
Do you know why I told you about that? I normally don't do this. Tell everybody all the evidence against them. Why do you think?
I don't know.
Because I think if you're to weigh this on, there's enough probable cause. A judge in Colorado Springs and El Paso has signed a probable cause warrant for first-degree murder.
Okay.
And all this evidence, and I'm telling you about the ones that I know about, and that's before you do, you know, all the phone stuff, et cetera, and then versus you taking a chance that you're going to get out. It's
I'm not taking a chance for nothing because I didn't do anything, sir. Okay, sir.
If you say you didn't do anything, do you know what an innocent person would do? I have had plenty of innocent people sitting in your chair. Do you know what an innocent person would do? They would be freaking out.
Well,
you are not freaking out.
Yeah, right. You think I haven't freaked out?
I heard
for,
you freak out on the phone one time.
Think I haven't freaked out for days? You can't judge the way I freak something out one way and another way.
I have had the wrong person in a room like this before, and trust me, if they had any idea who did it, they would tell me.
Okay, well,
that makes no sense, and no jury will buy. No jury's going to buy that you sit here with an answer that somebody else took Gannon. That all this head wound and all this stuff happened in there. Do you think I don't know what I'm talking about?
Sir, I never question anything.
Well, you must, because you're taking a huge chance, Letecia.
Sir, I'm not taking any chance.
How are you not taking
Because
a chance?
I know the man upstairs knows I did not do anything.
Well, he's not going to be on the jury.
Okay. All right, we're not going to go there with that. We're not going to go there.
We're going to sensible people who we're going to present evidence in front of.
Let me tell you what. There's a higher power.
There
that
is.
Higher power will make sure.
I believe in the higher power as well.
I'm glad you did. That really makes me feel a lot better. It really does. I'm serious. You know.
But Letecia, this comes down to common sense.
I do have
and these prosecutors, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about who you're going to be sitting in front of.
Okay.
And if you're going to take a chance that they're not going to listen to all this evidence, all this blood, all these stories that you told about Gannon, and that you have the key to finding him and you don't do it, there's nobody else to prosecute.
Okay.
Why won't you go there?
What else am I going to say?
The easiest thing to tell me is the last time you saw Gannon.
I've already told you I'm not hurting. Okay.
But then what do I need to go through again the other things that might have happened to Gannon? Where did you gently place Gannon?
What?
I don't know how to phrase it.
What are you talking about?
I don't know, because I don't know where he is. If you want me to use a different verb or whatever, I'm struggling.
I've got it paused at 4 hours, 10 minutes, and 13 seconds. Why have you shifted tactics here to trying to now find Gannon's location as to getting descriptions of what happened to him?
Well, she seems to be more reluctant to answer questions now. And she showed me with the particle board. She got upset when I said she threw it. And as I said earlier, she gets upset if I guess. So I tried different verbs like placing it, setting it, those sorts of things. And then she will settle back down. So that's why I'm trying different ways to get her to communicate to me any other clue that might have happened with Gannon. So I'm just trying yet a different tactic again.
Including clues potentially towards his location?
Yes.
Okay. When you go down this particular path of talking about last place that she may have seen Gannon, did she give you any keys that helped find Gannon?
No, and I had already asked her in the previous section who the last person was with Gannon, since she was saying it wasn't her. We had been through the angel routine, and then I was trying to see if she would push it to anybody else, and she's not. So since she's not pushing it to anybody else, she's basically saying it's her. So I just want her to say where she last saw him, whether it was in the house, whether it was at the Petco, whether it was at Palmer Lake, to give us some sort of clue of her last sighting of him.
You made a statement in that section that you don't normally tell people that you're interviewing about all of the evidence. One, why do you not typically do that?
We don't typically do that because we don't want the defendant or whoever we're in front of to testify falsely to something in case we give them too much evidence and then they say something they didn't do. Also, we don't want them to know what we know because I want their statement to be pure in that they're not just repeating what I say. With this interview, we had gone far enough to where we would do something called the collaborative interview, to where we bring the person in with us and we share as much as we can to try to get them to collaborate and cooperate with us, since I'm working towards a solution and I'm trying to bring her in almost as an investigator to help me find out what happened to Gannon. So the more facts that I introduce to her slowly, I'm hoping that she'll start cooperating with me.
So you anticipated my follow-up question is, why were you doing that in this case? But you just answered that. As this discussion sort of develops, does she then talk about faith in God and that kind of thing?
She does.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and play that. It's basically from this point forward to 4 hours, 14 minutes, and 6 seconds.
Letecia, this is not about you. You're the one caught up in it, though. You're the one with all the evidence stacked against you.
Okay, well,
Help yourself right now.
I thought.
Why would you not?
How did I do
But tell me what happened.
that? What happened? Well, I don't know.
The way you described.
Well, stand up for a moment.
Absolutely. The wounds that you described to him don't even come close to the blood in the house.
That's what you think.
No, it's not.
Okay.
This is what people that do this for a living tell me.
Okay.
Again, I wasn't there, but a little gash on his head doesn't explain at all that stuff that's in there.
Okay.
But do you want to go with that? Because when you walk out of here, the last thing on record you're going to have is what you told me. And I would love to be your storyteller.
Okay.
I would love to tell the true story. It will help you. You believe in that higher power?
I do. That's why. You
What
want to
about
know
the
why?
truth? Do you study the truth?
You want to know why I'm not sitting here like going crazy, freaking out, putting on an emotional show like I've seen people involved in this situation put on fake cries and all that? Because I know God knows.
Okay.
I mean,
but what about the truth? You study the same Bible, the same God. It tells a lot about truth in there, and you have not told many truths in this whole thing.
Well, I don't know that. Guess what? But let me tell you what happened this morning when I woke up. When I woke up this morning, I watched a story about Ron Miller. So he started this show. He ended up like getting talked down to, bullied online, treated like crap, accused of things he didn't do. And that's where he went to the accusation part. And so he went down this whole trail talking about how accusation, how this did to him, what he had to go through, and all that. But in the end, he kept his faith in Jesus Christ. You know about the story of Paul, you know about Saul in the Bible. Okay, I can walk you through a lot in the Bible. If you know what I'm talking about. So turn those accusations into just keeping steadfast and staying strong, and to believing God's going to do this and keeping whatever. Because, you know, in the Bible, they persecuted a lot of Christians, right? A lot of them for things they didn't do right. But, you know, there's a lot of stories where God made sure they were okay. So when I woke up this morning, I literally decided, God, you can take this, and you can either A, bring Gideon home, bring him to the front step, drop him off, so that I can please never have to worry about this again.
Right.
Or you can let me stay focused on believing in you, as in him, and just the truth will come out. And it's okay, because I don't want to sit here and accuse all these people of whatever. I'm not going to turn those same accusations against them for saying this and saying that, not believing this, not believing that. I'm just going to just sit there and say, I know I did not hurt Keaton.
With that, I get.
So I've got it paused at 4 hours, 14 minutes, and 6 seconds. Did you go on from this basically to then try to get her to tell you more details about when she last saw Gannon?
Yes.
All right, so we're going to jump to that section at 4 hours, 17 minutes, and 18 seconds.
This is what she's looked like throughout this video.
And we will play through 4 hours, 20 minutes, and 3 seconds.
Go a different way. If you did something bad to Gannon.
I did not.
I'm saying we go if. If you did something bad to Gannon, could you ever admit it? No,
I'm not going to go.
This is not a trick.
But I'm not going to go answer that question, because I did not do anything bad.
The reason why I ask you that is the people that I've worked with are actually put in prison for life. I've told them, and I've told people, the families of these victims, I said, if you put Harold in a room and you take everybody else out, we have absolute evidence that he pushed his wife off a cliff and that he dropped a car on his other wife, and he was convicted. I said, even if you clear everybody out and you just have Harold in a mirror, Harold was a God follower, Christian like you are. I said he could never admit that he did that to either wife.
Well, I'm sorry that, what's his name, Harold? Harold is that type of person, because a God follower, I'm not judging him, I'm saying, in order for you, you have to repent your sins to God, okay? And you have to put yourself there. And in order to repent your sins to God, it means also you have to lay them all down on the cross. And like, my sins are laid down. It is not involving hurting, harming, or killing you. So I'm sorry that Harold or whatever his name is has like a different approach.
Well, I think you have probably a more serious problem than Harold does. You know where an 11-year-old is, and I'm here telling you we could go find him, and you are not giving us his location, alive or dead. So what Harold did was push a 50-year-old woman off the cliff. It was an awful thing, and the parents hated losing Tony. But Tony had lived a full life, as full as you can till 50. It was still tragic. Gannon's 11. Gannon,
that doesn't matter age, you're right. It's tragic, right?
Yeah.
You just said
and
that.
if you had the answer, you would give it to us.
I don't know where he is.
But you won't answer my question about the last time you saw him.
Listen, sir, anything I say to you, you're not going to listen to me. You're going to take.
I'm not going to twist things, Letecia.
To be honest with you, I can give you speculation.
Okay, give
like
me
with
speculation.
Everyone else.
Please.
I can give you
I'll
speculation.
take speculation.
Speculation is getting alive. Speculation is being with someone who is not willing to hurt him until they get something they want.
Why wouldn't they make a demand then? Why would they hold an 11-year-old kid? That's more sadistic.
So as we talked about, we stopped it at 4 hours, 20 minutes, and 3 seconds. Why did you start this section out with asking, could she admit it? What was in your mind when you asked that question?
When it's a familial matter and someone that you really care about is the person that you've harmed. I haven't yet had someone who's admitted to me that they were responsible for that harm or homicide.
And so that's why you're asking that particular question?
Yes.
Okay. And then does it devolve back into now he's been kidnapped by some group?
Yes.
All right. Did you then confront her again about the blood on the wall?
Yes.
Does she bring up a miscarriage that she apparently had sometime prior?
She does.
All right, let's watch that section. It starts at 4 hours, 21 minutes, and 47 seconds and goes through 4 hours, 23 minutes, and 47 seconds.
And Your Honor, could Mr. Allen and I.
All right. I'm going to put this up on the screen just one second. Let me get a courtroom feed. The judge has prohibited us from showing any portion of the sidebars. That's by court order. So even though the WebEx is up and I can see the judge face, it is, you know, and you can read his lips. It's not. I'm not allowed to transfer that or to transfer that over. So we will do. Let's see. This one instead. You can see the back of an attorney. And Letecia with her head down doing the ring impersonation again today. This particular objection, they did not verbalize. They just asked to approach. So we don't have any indication of what the objection was. It sounded like more of a concern about moving forward and what they're going to be going into as opposed to what they've covered already. But it sounds like we're getting some new stories. Jula Songs, how do you become a member? I got an email from YouTube this past weekend where they told me that they are implementing the join button on the page for iOS devices. So if you're on an iOS device and you don't have a ability to join, that may be fixed. It's both good and bad news. The bad news is if you join on an iOS device, it's my understanding that basically there's all the profit goes to Apple and Google, which is sort of sad. They take about 60% of everything before the taxman takes most of what's left. So, but we're still trying to figure out how that goes. I'm in conversations with them back and forth. Right now, it's easiest to join if you go on a website on a computer. That's the easiest way to join, but we'll see. Ivan. If you miscarry a cash baby, is that called in utero bankruptcy? I think that's the technical term. I think you hit it right on the head. How many has he questioned? If it was said at the beginning, I missed it, and never had any admittance is a unique thing. So he's questioned. He says, "I've never had someone who did something to a loved one that would admit that they did it," and she also wouldn't admit that she did it. Why is everything pregnancy with her? She's been pregnant like 10 times since all of this. Yep. Hey, JT, good morning to you. Good to have you here. Fantastic show last night. Glad I could catch part of it. Great job with your guest as well. Any man who the man in the gray suit glasses is front row press? Don't know why I've never noticed him before. Is he always there? He is with the, I believe he's actually an investigator. I think he's with the prosecution. Generally, the front row is prosecutors or paralegals or assistant counsel of some sort. And then behind them would probably be family. I think we've seen him on the stand. I think he's testified already. I think I finally figured out my join problem. If you have a gifted membership, the join button will not show. If you let the free membership expire, then the join button becomes visible on Android. Okay. Dreamscape, this is interesting. First of all, it's a tragic situation you're talking about. A woman who, in a manic episode, killed 4 or 5 kids, and then wondered why the kids didn't visit her. Not guilty by reason of insanity was her plea in that case, apparently, as well. We don't see many of them where this actually is the case. Actually, my wife and I were talking about this. It's like, what would an NGI incident look like? A temporary NGI? Well, not guilty by temporary insanity type thing. And it's hard to find some of those, but apparently this is one that was the case. Yeah, I've got to finish my cold hot chocolate now. Give me just a second to... I can pull up Gannon's dad if he's there. He's sitting behind the guy in the gray suit is the problem. Okay, here we go. Let's go to 7. So Gannon's dad has his head down, just over the right shoulder of the man in the gray suit with the glasses. That's going to be Al. Golly, it would be nice if we had a direct view or even a direct feed of the camera, the television. Unfortunately, this court does not offer that. I'm doing the best I can to try to give us a view of it and get it as high quality as possible. Yes, he's the guy. Al is the guy behind the guy in the gray suit, also bald. Correct. That's tasty. Thought Dad didn't want to be on camera. He chose not to be on camera for while he was testifying. The gallery is on camera, and so he's visible in the gallery. Landon has been in the courtroom as well. I can't see her right now. It might just be the angle. She might be there, one row behind Al and to his right, possibly. Okay, here we go. Let's go back to SuperSource.
All right. Yes, thank you, Judge. Picking up from where we left off, we were going to jump to the confrontation about blood on the wall and being compared to a miscarriage, and it's going to jump to 4 hours, 21 minutes, and 47 seconds. And we will play through 4 hours, 23 minutes, and 47 seconds. So exactly 2 minutes worth of video.
If you had nothing to do with harming Gannon, why would you clean up the blood that's on the wall?
So you're saying you've never had anything happen in your house and you cleaned it up? Never. Like, you've never had, like...
Why would you cut out the carpet?
Nosebleeds. The carpet?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was going to get more carpet. It doesn't... The carpet has nothing to do with cutting it out. It's getting smell. It stunk. I couldn't breathe. None of us could breathe.
Did you say that Lena helped you clean up some of the blood on the wall?
Lena always helps us clean up everything. Lena helped us clean up the light switch. Lena helped us clean up when Gannon had a nosebleed. Okay?
But for this occasion, she helped with that.
Now you're going to walk me back through what we've already talked about. So you're now going to go be like, oh, an 8-year-old this and an 8-year-old that. Come on. There was all the time. Gannon was bleeding all the time. He'd have a nosebleed randomly at the drop of a dime. He'd bite his fingers, bleed all the time.
Would it help if I gave you a picture of the wall of what all showed up on it?
Sir, that's not going to get me to say anything to you because I didn't do anything.
Well, what I'm trying to appeal to, though, is, again, you weighing your options right now before we're gone.
Sir?
Because you're taking a big risk, Letecia.
Sure. I believe in higher power. And that higher power is going to show the entire world. And when it does, I would never have to work a day in my life again. And that's going to happen. Guaranteed. Because I did not hurt. I did not dispose, kill, whatever you want to call these things that you're going to name out as verbs.
So why did you confront her with the blood cleanup and, for instance, the carpet cutout?
We had talked about it before, but this is what I'm left with to speak with her about, is the evidence in the case to see if she'll move from where she was.
Were you trying to give her an opening to give you more details?
Yes, and I don't remember if I had brought up before Lana's participation in this, but I wanted to see.
Lana, you mean?
Yeah, Lana's participation, and to see how she would react to that.
Again, is it consistent throughout the interview that she would resist those opportunities when it related to the specifics of the crime itself?
Yes. And again, she said she sees the pathway where these questions would be going, and she says she's not going to go there.
Appreciating where you want to get to.
Correct.
From your perception, was that logical thought process?
Very.
Shortly after this portion of the video, do you confront her with trying to get information about, hey, there's a boy out there. Help me find him. Help me get him home.
Yes.
Let's jump to that section. 4 hours, 24 minutes, and 29 seconds.
Letecia's head is now down on the desk completely.
And we will play through 4 hours, 32 minutes, and 50 seconds. So about 8 minutes. Judge, I'm not sure if you want to allow Mr. Grusing to step down during this 8-minute portion.
Thanks.
So starting it at 4 hours, 24 minutes, and 29 seconds.
And about why would you act like this when there's a boy out there?
I want Shannon home.
Then tell me how to do it.
I want to help you. I don't know. I don't.
But see, that's where easy questions should be easy to answer.
I just said I don't know. That's an easy answer.
The easy answer is tell me the very last time you laid eyes on him. Where was he? Was he laying down? Was he standing up? Was he sitting? Was he walking to a car? Where was? Give me your very last image of Gannon. That's an easy question. You have to remember your last image of Gannon. Letecia, what was he doing? Why would you not answer that?
Because I've given you.
No, you haven't told me exactly what you saw when you saw him for the very last time. Did you see the back of his head? Did you see his face? What was his expression? Did he say goodbye to you? Tell me of your last, I wish I could see in your head right now. Your very last image is there, but you won't tell me. Why won't you tell me?
Because it's nothing bad to
Well, then
tell
tell
you.
me. If it's nothing bad, you would tell me. Image of Gannon.
I don't
Please.
have any bad images again.
I didn't say it was bad.
I don't
just
have
asking,
any.
What's the very last picture of seeing Gannon alive or not alive that you have in your brain?
He is alive. I'm not
Then
going to say
tell me the last time you saw him. What did you see? Letecia, that's like you said earlier.
Okay.
Being a good person, you didn't hurt him, you didn't do all this. I'm repeating it back to you. Why could you not tell me then? If all that is true, you know the last time you saw him. What would that hurt to tell me? Do you kind of think?
No, I don't.
Well, then tell me.
I don't need any kinds of.
What is wrong with that question?
There's nothing wrong with the question. I've already made it clear that I wasn't going to answer more questions.
You've never answered this one.
Because you have already predetermined what you want in your brain, along with everyone else.
Why do you care about what's in my brain?
So you just asked me about mine.
Yeah, because your brain's the only one that counts here. It doesn't matter what's in my brain. The very last time you saw Gannon? Where was he? What was he doing?
Did y'all put a reward out?
There's no need to put it out. Can you please answer that?
You automatically have a predetermined thing in your brain.
If you give me something else, I'll go
Yeah,
there.
no, wow.
Why do you care about my brain, Letecia? Yours is the one that matters. What's the last thing you
I'm
saw?
gonna tell you one more time. It will not hurt.
I didn't ask
harm,
that. I did not
anything
ask that.
harm.
I don't care. What is the last
I
image
mean,
you have?
checked all these places I've been.
Why don't you answer that question?
Why don't you
I'm just
answer me?
curious.
Have you checked all these places I've been, and where was Gannon? Was he there? Doesn't that have to like sink it in the brain for a little bit to say?
You're going to live with it for the
Gannon,
rest of your life, Letecia. Why don't you tell me today?
I'm not living with anything horrible in my brain. I'm not.
Okay, well then it should be an easy question.
I've given you the answer.
Of the last time you saw him? No, you haven't. But I'm afraid it's not the image that you want to be left with.
What? Sir, that's not going to convince me to say something that I didn't do.
Okay, then maybe it is the image. Then tell me. Why else would you not tell me?
Because you keep going with the same question, and if you've already
And you won't answer it.
but you predetermined yourself.
No.
When I thought you were going to help, that was different. But you predetermined yourself.
You didn't
what
tell
to
me
think.
what the last thing you saw was, even with your answer there. And that's fine. If you want to tell me the thing with Angel, I
I'm
don't
not going
care.
to say anything other than saying, it will stop everyone. But I will promise you, I won't have to worry about nothing the rest of my life because I didn't do it.
But you did. What's going to come out? That you didn't tell the FBI who took Gannon, if that's your deal? How is that going to shock everybody?
Okay. Okay, sir. Okay.
I didn't think you were guilty until you don't answer the last time you saw him.
Sir, you came in this morning
No, I did not.
and you automatically thought that. You automatically thought that already.
I was willing to listen if you were going to give me evidence to the contrary. But I have talked to many people who have seen someone disappear. It never goes away. That last image.
Oh, well.
It never goes away, and you've got it in your mind, and you won't tell me.
Right.
There is only one reason you won't tell me.
You're right. People do have, when people do bad things, their images stay in their brain. You're right.
Bad or good. A lot of these dads didn't know when the last time they were going to see their daughter.
I mean.
And they still remember it like it was yesterday, 14 years later.
Oh, yeah.
You remember the last time you saw Gannon.
Yeah.
So tell me what you saw.
Nothing negative.
So tell me what you saw.
I saw nothing negative. I saw nothing with Gannon.
You're telling me nothing. You're saying nothing.
Okay.
Just tell me what you did see, the positive.
Gannon.
Where was he? Was he standing?
You said, tell me what I see. I'm just going to tell you.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt.
How Gannon was.
Okay.
Okay. Gannon was fine. Gannon, nothing was wrong with him. Gannon was happy. Gannon is my favorite stepchild. My favorite. I know everybody says they have favorites and things like that, or say not really necessarily favored or whatever, but he was.
Do you remember how we talked earlier?
Definitely.
Remember how we talked earlier about when I ask you a question and you go around?
I'm not answering that question.
You're saying, you're giving me qualities of Gannon. You're not saying what you saw. You're saying he's a favorite stepson. What did you see? Was he standing or sitting?
I didn't do anything to Gannon.
I didn't say you did. I said your last memory.
Okay, well, I didn't do anything to Gannon. So.
Do you have it in your mind right now?
Yep.
Seeing him for the last time.
Oh, well, it's not going to be the last time, but.
The last time you saw him. Do you have that? Do you have that picture in your mind?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
I know you're really good at what you do. I appreciate that. I know that, but I didn't do this.
Well, why don't you tell me the answer to that question?
Because why would I answer questions for you?
But that is not a hard question to answer. I'm not saying did you kill him. I'm not saying did you put him in a forest. I'm not saying did you put him in a dumpster. This is just your last image. You've got to have it.
My image is are happy lies. That's what it will
That's
always
what you
be.
see in your brain.
Okay. Well, now you know my brain.
Yes, I know. You have an image of the last time you saw Gannon.
Okay.
If you didn't hurt him, why won't you tell me?
I already told you I didn't hurt him.
I know, but if you didn't, why would that image be a problem for you?
It's not a problem. I don't have a problem with anything.
Then tell me. I'm not accusing you of anything, Letecia. Just tell me the last time you saw him.
At the very beginning, I'm sorry.
Not up yet.
Oh.
You can go ahead.
I'm going to ask the empty chair, Judge.
Okay.
The voice from behind me would have been interesting. Mr. Grusing, at the very beginning of this portion of the video, you start out with easy questions and easy answers. What was your purpose of that statement?
What do you mean? Easy questions, easy answers?
Well, easy questions should be easy to answer, basically.
Yeah, again, if she's saying that she's innocent of this, then the questions that I'm asking should be very easy for her to answer.
Did she give you any of these easy answers?
No.
Again, here, it appears that you're sort of pushing back when she's saying, well, what's in your mind? Did she appear to be throughout this entire interview preoccupied with what other people were thinking about her?
Yes, and that was consistent with the phone calls. And what I'm trying to keep her from doing is manipulating her answer to see what I want to hear. I just want to hear what she knows to be true.
This whole issue about did you all put out a reward, that kind of stuff. This entire section, was this another example of her deflecting away from the thrust of information you're trying to gather?
Yes.
Right after this, does she then actually challenge you about, are you going to find Gannon?
Yes.
All right, let's watch that portion. Basically, from this section on through 4 hours, 35 minutes, and 56 seconds. So just a couple of minutes. So if you're okay sitting there so I don't ask an empty chair questions.
This is an easy question compared to all the other ones we've done. Please.
Are you going to find him?
Yes.
Well, I would rather spend our time doing that because I don't have him. I didn't do anything with him, to him, or hurt him.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate all your work.
You can help us more than anybody on this planet. You can help me right now find Gannon. Let's start with the one question I asked you.
I don't have any more for you because.
Well, just tell me why you don't want to answer that.
Because I've already, it doesn't matter. I can tell you I last saw Gannon when I went to the store this morning, and it could be legit true, and you would still be like, he was not in the store. I mean,
I will be able to tell if you say what he's wearing, or not even what he's wearing, how he was walking, you will remember this. And just you not answering it means you remember it.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you now are a psychologist.
No, it's behavior analysis.
Okay, good. I'm glad you have behavior analysis. Okay. I appreciate you having me here. What else do you want me to say or do? I mean, what else?
So you don't want to answer that one?
I don't want to tell you anything else because.
Why? If it helps find Gannon, why would you not tell?
Because you already predetermined.
I didn't say you heard him or anything. I think you know where he is, though.
You already predetermined this. You have.
The scene does tell the story,
Okay,
yes.
so if that's your story, then I'm not going to keep saying anything because I know that is not the case. So if I keep saying anything to you, you're just going to keep blah, 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 blah about it. And I've been nothing but respectful to you. So I'm trying to remain respectful to you overall because I don't have any disrespect for you. I don't treat people like that. But putting me in a situation where I'm like saying to you, I cannot say anything else because you've expressed you predetermined what you think You've already done that. So no matter what I say, I legit could take you right to Gannon, and he would be standing there, and you would still say to me, well, that's not him. Or you would say something else.
Do you know how good that would be for you?
Oh, trust me. Yes.
Then why do you care what I
You know
think?
how good that would be for me? Absolutely.
Why do you care what I think? You should not care at all what I think. You said I wouldn't think. If you could take us to Gannon right now, that.
So this idea where she's saying she doesn't have him, did you later learn that that was actually a true statement?
Yes.
Because of where Gannon was ultimately found?
Correct.
Later on in this interview, did you confront her with her ability to dodge questions and spin stories?
Yes.
All right, let's jump to that section at 4 hours and 39 minutes and 33 seconds.
Finally, this is going to be good.
Bless you. And we will play through 4 hours and 46 minutes and 21 seconds. So about 7 minutes if if he's allowed to come down, Judge.
Up to him.
I think I can handle it this time.
Okay.
Just need to upgrade the chair.
You got away with spinning stories and dodging questions your whole life.
So now you know me my whole life.
I can look back a little bit. I don't know you when you were 5 or 13 or 16. But I think something bad happened and you've been able to avoid trouble. But that doesn't happen in this case.
Okay, sir.
These stories that you told are much worse for you than if you had just said, the best thing you could have said is, Gannon just went, and that's it. I'm not saying anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But you describing all these injuries to him, even to us today, is awful.
But it's not injuries like that.
Yes, you talked about it. His head.
There's all the time. You raise children and they never got hurt. Like they never.
Not all on the last day they're seen alive.
Was. You're making it out to be like some whatever. That's not even how it was.
Tell me how it was then.
Gannon and I are very close. Okay?
But see, that's what you don't do. You say generalizations when I ask you, how was it? And
why? I don't even know what you're asking me.
The injury that caused that pool in the corner. It's not a little scratch on his
Okay, why
head.
don't you test it and see what day it came from? If that's what you're telling me, why don't you test it and see what day?
Oh, it didn't happen on Monday.
No,
It happened on Saturday.
I'm asking you. You are the one who are telling me, no matter what I say, you're telling me it's your way or no way. So why don't you tell me?
Well, I'm saying it's a significant enough injury that he was not going to be normal after that.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That's what they told me.
Okay, well, that is awful that people aren't normal after anything like that.
It's a significant
Because I had
injury.
puddles of blood. Remember that I had
We're not
puddles of
talking
blood
about you. We're talking about
I know.
11 years.
that I did, and there was no significant injury that I died.
Do you not find that coincidental?
Right.
The
What?
blood on the wall and by his bed.
The
And on
blood.
mattress.
The blood that you or your team allowed people to be in the house.
That has no bearing on it.
Okay, well, if it doesn't, then okay.
It doesn't.
Okay, so, okay. Maybe check one of them.
Are you ready to tell me?
Maybe check one of them. Because
I bet you they can tell me the last time they saw Gannon,
That's
even
not-
though it was
that's not
months
the
before.
question.
I bet Al can tell you the last time he saw Gannon, even though he didn't know that was going to be the last time. I guarantee you he's got an image of Gannon. You were the last one with him, Letecia.
Okay.
What do I need to say to help you? I'm serious.
You do not want to help me.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. You want me to tell you what you want to hear. That's what you want.
No,
Yes.
I have never wanted people to tell me what I want to hear. If it doesn't lead me to finding Gannon or the truth of this matter, I could care less what it is. Like I said, most of the time, I'm wrong. I have to have people like you tell me the truth. You didn't have anything to hide. You tell me your last
Don't
image of me.
have anything to hide.
Then tell me. That's not a guilt or innocence question. Just your last image of Gannon. Okay, now you don't have to tell me the last time you saw him, just your last image in your head. What's the last image in your head you have of him? No? Or was he?
Yeah, you said last image. That's the image.
I mean, was he sitting? Is he standing? Is he laying down? What's he doing?
Walking
Towards you or away from you?
away.
Do you have any questions for me? Any questions for me? No, that's for you. Have I not asked you a question that I should be asking you? Anything? I don't have the answers to this. No, feelings that I can't talk about right now. No, it moves family.
No.
Anything? Is there anything I need to ask you that I haven't? Just be it. I don't think they'll need anything.
Let me go to the bathroom.
Sure.
Well,
Let's pause now at 4 hours, 46 minutes and 21 seconds. As to when you both leave the room and are off camera, what happened outside in the hallway?
I believe she went to the bathroom.
Do you then come back into the room with her?
We might have opened the door, but I don't think we do any more interviews in this room.
Okay. Why'd you go down this path of confronting her with dodging questions and spinning stories?
We had talked about it before, and she had told me that she has done that in the past as far as talking in circles, dodging questions. And I just wanted to bring that back around, something that she had told me, to see if we could go straight forward just once with this last image question I had.
Did she ever give you a straightforward answer to the last image in her head?
No.
Throughout this long interview, did she exhibit that same sort of trait of dodging questions or spinning stories?
Yes.
That's appeared to you in your perception to be a calculated move on her part?
Yes.
Your final contact with her is back in this room, and it starts at 4:47:43 and then goes through 4:49:17. We'll jump to that now.
Letecia. And here, like I said, you're going to have to go to whatever the jail that holds you in. Colorado's got the warrant, so they're going to transport you.
Okay.
Do you have anything else for me? I think we've talked a lot today, but if you have something you want to say, I'll sit here for another 4 hours.
Where's the warrant?
The warrant's in the system. It's in the NCIC is what they call it. That's what they picked you up on today, was the arrest warrant.
Okay.
So you're going to be going back there. Anything else? First degree murder for Gannon's death. That's what I was trying to come in here with you to help you. If we find Gannon, that makes a big difference. We'll let you go. If he's alive, you might as well try it. I can't speak for the district attorney. I'm not an attorney. I'm an investigator. If he's alive and you can get us Gannon, yes. Good things will happen to you today versus getting shipped back to Colorado.
I'm going to talk to you about that.
So we're now at the end of that recorded interview, essentially. Is she trying to have another off-camera discussion with you?
Yes.
Did you, in fact, have a short discussion with her off-camera?
Yes.
What happened in that discussion?
Right outside the door, we now had police officers waiting to transport. So there were probably 4 or 5 law enforcement around us. And she said something in a small voice about North Carolina that I couldn't hear. And I asked her to repeat it. And she said that she and I should go to North Carolina. And I asked her, is Gannon in North Carolina? And she didn't answer.
Was that basically the extent of that interaction?
Yes, what I recall.
Okay. In looking back at your, even your recorded phone calls that we've heard throughout this trial and in this long interview, are there any, I guess, regrets that you have as to your approaches, ways that you may have been able to get more information about what happened again?
She brought up Quincy Brown to me, I think, within an hour or so of our interview. And then she said something to the effect of, if I wasn't going to talk about that, then it wasn't any use going forward. And in looking at the phone calls with Al, that's where she described most of Gannon's injuries, or a lot of them. And looking back and playing it through, maybe I should have gone more down the Quincy Brown angle to see if she would have been willing to disclose more things. That's the only thing I can think of.
The short portions that we didn't play through your direct examination here, were there any surprises in those portions that are different from the stuff that we saw in the video that we did watch?
No.
Did she act consistently in those portions to what we saw here?
Yes.
You, in 2 different sections that we watched, you delved into mental health questions. Do you remember those?
Yes.
Throughout all of your interaction with her, both through those recorded phone calls and in this interview, did she ever express any history with severe mental health issues, diseases, defects, anything like that?
She did not.
Did she ever talk about sexual abuse that she allegedly suffered as a child?
No.
Did she ever point to specific people in her life, family, that she alleged carried out sexual abuse against her?
No.
Did she ever give you any descriptions of any commitments to hospitals?
No.
Did she appear to understand the gravity of the situation when you were talking with her, that this is a first-degree murder charge?
Very well.
In what ways were you able to develop that idea?
Well, as I said earlier, she's able to see where different lines of questioning go and what would be damaging for her to answer truthfully. So, whether we're talking about evidence in the case or what happened to Gannon or her role or involvement, she stops that line of questioning before it goes down something that would be damning towards her in testimony.
So are you saying resisting giving more incriminating statements about the crime itself?
Correct.
Did that appear to be a calculated move on her part?
Yes.
Throughout your entire interaction with her, both through the consensual recorded phone calls and this long interview, did you ever observe her to change personalities?
No.
Did she ever talk in a Spanish accent?
No.
Did she ever demand to be called any other names besides the name that you knew her as?
No.
Did she ever use the name Taylor?
No.
Jasmine?
No.
Harmony?
No.
Christina?
No.
Little Lucia?
No.
Maria Sanchez?
No.
May I have just a moment, Your Honor?
You may.
Might get some cross here.
And that's all I have. I just need to disconnect this computer from here so that Mr. Cook
Right.
has a clean podium.
Okay.
Let's see, Mr. Cook. How's this going to go?
And you can, I was going to say turn off the screen if you'd like.
Mr. Cook, cross-examination.
Thank you.
We're going to watch Letecia for this. Her head popped up now that she's not
Grusin,
being
good
taxed
morning.
anymore.
How are you?
Good morning. Good. Thank you.
So how long did you work for the FBI?
A few months short of 25 years.
25 years. Were you always in the Colorado office, or were you like a lot of other agents early in your career? You were in different states.
Always Colorado.
Always. Okay. And at one point near the end of the interview, Miss Stauch referred to you as something, and you corrected herself. You corrected her and said you're a behavior analysis.
She said something like, I'm a psychologist.
Yeah.
And I said, no, I'm in behavior analysis.
Okay. And is that generally what you did throughout the majority of your career?
No.
Okay. What else were your other assignments? And I know you already told Mr. Allen this, but I have to hear things a few times before they sink.
No worries. Yeah, so I was a special agent, and I was assigned to the criminal side for the FBI. There's a terrorism side or counterintelligence and a criminal side. And for my last 23 years, I was a criminal agent for them. So I was never a supervisor, it would be similar to being a detective for a local police department.
Okay. Now, you told Ms. Stout during the interview that you had been contacted by the main office for the FBI and told to go do this interview with her in South Carolina. Is that correct?
Yes, I think I told her I was asked by the Colorado Springs office to come investigate initially and then also to go out to South Carolina.
Okay. Whose decision was it to you be the one that goes in and does this almost 5-hour interview?
I think it was up in the air early, whether it would be El Paso investigator and myself or just myself. And I don't remember how it came just to be me, but it ended up just being me.
Okay. And have you done a lot of these interviews over your career?
Yes.
Okay. Now, before we got into the audio videotape interview, we were listening to some additional phone calls with Gannon's father and Miss Stout.
Yes.
Okay. And do you recall in one of these interviews, it looks like it was February 19th, 2020. It began about 12:10 p.m. Do you recall that interview that was recorded?
Yes, briefly.
Okay. And were you there for that one?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember at the end of that conversation, it said Letecia said that her guess would be that Gannon was not in Colorado. When asked how she knew, she said, quote, because Tisha didn't hurt him, didn't dispose of him or anything like that, okay? It goes on, so Tisha was in Colorado with nothing, and you guys have run up all these places where y'all think I did or whatever, and you haven't found Gannon. Do you recall her at one point referring to herself as Tisha?
I do.
Okay. Now, generally, somebody in that conversation would say I. But in this situation, she's referring to herself in the third person?
Correct.
Okay. Did you find that a little bit off?
Not really.
Okay. Well, what if I started questioning you right here instead of saying, I've got a couple questions for you, Mr. Grusing? What if I said, Mr. Cook has a couple questions for you, Mr. Grusing? Mr. Cook would like to proceed. Would that be a little bit off?
It depends on who you are and how well I knew you.
So it'd be kind of strange if I was up here cross-examining you and I was using the third person to refer to myself.
It would be unusual, yes.
Mr. Cook has some more questions for you.
Sounds good.
Couldn't help it. Now, with respect to the Google searches we talked about, or you talked about with Letecia, I don't like my stepson, you recall those and
I do.
discussing that with Mr. Allen. Were you able to pull up the content that was retrieved during these searches, or what is the scope of what information you were able to pull up in this metadata or whatever it is?
So yeah, I was quite a bit removed from that. We had a computer specialist that was looking into her phone and would send us sanitized results.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't see what the kickback was or
That's correct.
anything. You just could see the search. Okay. And you don't know when these searches were made.
I don't.
Okay. And that's not because you didn't look. It's just because that information was not saved.
Yeah, I was told they didn't know you're talking about when her actual search happened on her phone?
Yeah, when she, Googled in, I don't like my stepson. What do I do about it? Like if that was in 2018 or was it?
Correct. Yeah, it was no timestamp date was given to me for those searches.
Okay. So some of these searches could have been January 27th of 2020, and some of them could have been in 2018, or some of them could have been actually after January 27th.
Correct.
But before the phone was seized.
Yes.
Okay. Are you aware of any searches coming back saying, what do I do if I don't like my stepson? And the answer being, stab him 17 times, plunge and force, strike him 4 times in the head and shoot him in the head?
No.
That'd be some pretty bad advice, wouldn't it?
That would not be good advice. You're right.
Now, sometimes, how many different stories did Miss Stauch tell? I hear at one point you said you were asking her on the video and told her that she's told you about 7 different stories. Do you recall that?
Yeah, I think I was throwing out an approximate number.
Okay. And then Mr. Allen asked you one time, and he said you can't even count how many stories she gave.
Yes, because he brought up variations of stories, which would legitimately count as another stories.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about an infinite number of stories. I mean, you could go back and
correct. We could count them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there were, between 5 and 10 main theme stories we're dealing with.
That sounds correct.
And in one interview, something may change a little bit, but there was 5 to 10 main theme stories.
Sounds right.
Okay. Now, during some of the interviews, Miss Stauch or Letecia, she seemed like she made a lot of eye contact, was pretty engaged near the beginning. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. And then there was a part for about 30 minutes or so in the middle where she didn't even look up. She hung her head the whole time. Do you recall that part?
Yes.
And her voice was a lot lower. You could hardly even hear her. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Is almost 5 hours a long time to be in an interview room like that?
It just depends on the situation.
What was your goal when you went into this interview room with Letecia? Was it to find out what Gannon was? Was it to get a confession to be used to prosecute her later? Both? I mean, what was the actual game plan when you went in?
Yeah, probably both. I would say primarily is to find what happened to Gannon. And as she had spoken with Al on the phone, that she had given hints or clues. And even if we were to get some of those, that would be worth the 5 hours.
And would you say that you came away from this interview as far as getting the confession and being able to find Gannon more or less empty-handed?
It went about as I expected it would.
And you weren't able to get enough information or any information out to be able to locate Gannon?
That's correct.
Can I have just a second, Your Honor?
Okay.
Is that all they have for him?
I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you, Mr. Gerson.
Thank you.
Hey guys, we do have a lot of people in chat. Let's try to keep the conversation as on topic as possible. Obviously, when it's a little quieter, we can branch out a little bit, but let's try to just keep it on the case. Otherwise, it's really hard to follow.
Mr. Grusing, you were asked about the references that the defendant used third person to say her name.
Yes.
Have you been around other people who are self-absorbed who also talk about themselves in the third person?
I have.
Does that indicate in your mind any concerns about mental health capacity?
No.
Did that cause you any concern about this defendant as to her mental health capacity?
It did not.
Did it indicate in your mind that she was exhibiting a separate personality
No.
or acting as a separate person?
No.
You were asked about the demeanor change of the defendant in the interview, where in the beginning she's making lots of eye contact, perhaps even almost flirting with you. How would you attribute her demeanor at the beginning?
Conversational. I would even say hopeful on her part that she might be able to provide me with a story that I might take away.
Potentially hoping to manipulate your involvement in the investigation.
Leading.
Yeah, sustained. You can rephrase.
Sure. Any other indicators for you as to what she may have been trying to get done there?
Yes, as I told her throughout, she was more concerned about what I was thinking than telling me what was happening. And she continued to do that throughout the interview, and I continued to admonish her to just tell me what she knew, not what she thought I was thinking.
Okay. You were asked at the very end of the cross-examination, did you come out empty-handed in this interview? Did you actually get useful information out of this interview?
Yes.
Can you tell the jury what useful information you got out of it?
Well, Letecia continued to exhibit no concern for Gannon as she did in the phone calls with Al. Anytime I would try to speak with her about Gannon, an 11-year-old being missing, however I could phrase that, she would turn it back around to herself. Even at the end, she was saying about, instead of him being found, it's her being exonerated and people would be sorry. Everything focused around her. And that's why her referencing her in the third person was not a surprising thing to me. As far as coming out empty-handed, her not being able to articulate a last image of Gannon was very indicative that image was awful, and I told her that multiple times. So to me, I didn't come away with a confession, but I came away with more of a certainty that something really bad had happened to Gannon and that she had witnessed it. As you saw, I probably asked her 30 times, maybe more, about her last image and gave her multiple outs. And the other thing that she kept not wanting to accept is that this was an accident. And normally in a case like this, a person who has last been with a loved one, whether it's accident or something homicidal, they will accept accident, and she would not accept that.
And then what about demonstrating her ability to recall? Were you able to develop that as well?
Her ability to recall
information?
Yes. Anything that was not inculpatory towards the disappearance and homicide, she could recall easily. Dates, times, movements, homework, those sorts of things. It was pretty easy for her to articulate those.
Was it your perception that she was refusing to recall data as to what actually happened to Gannon?
Yes.
Was that helpful towards the investigation?
Yes.
Were you able to develop information about her intellect, her ability to communicate, and that sort of thing?
Yes.
And why is that helpful towards the investigation?
That she is a articulate, intelligent, perceptive, and intuitive person. And that also helped her evade law enforcement while we as a team were trying to find out what happened to Gannon while she was even still in Colorado. Just seeing her organized thought patterns there and how adept she was at shifting and deceiving and using some sort of alternative mechanism, it showed us that she was able to carry out what we thought she was able to carry out, and that is hide Gannon when there were multiple people looking for him.
What about the her lack of any prior mental health concerns? Was that helpful towards the investigation?
Yes.
Why?
Because we saw that she knew what she was doing. And we saw that even in her own words, she made this a 3-day ordeal, saying it started on Saturday, it went through Sunday, and there was all sorts of planning and premeditation involved, whether it's the call in to the school or not using her phone, using Gannon's phone. She explained to us that this was a prolonged event.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
Do any of the jurors have any questions for Mr. Grusing? Looks like we have one. Just write it down, pass it forward.
Okay, as is normal
This
in
one?
Colorado.
Okay. Counsel
the
approach,
Supreme
please.
Court, we're going to take this angle right here. They're going to block our view in just a minute. But yes, the jurors can ask questions in this trial. They submit the questions. The bailiff brings it over to, I think actually counsel brings it over to the judge. The judge reviews the question with the both sides. They check the question to see if it's proper, if it's something they can ask. And if they can, then the judge is going to ask the witness directly. And then he'll also allow some very limited follow-up questioning regarding that. And we've had some very insightful questions from the jury previously, so let's see what we get here today. I love this idea. I wish it was expanded. I'd like to see it in every state. I can't see where this would go wrong. His audio is off. We're not hearing the audio. He's left his mic off. Apparently, we don't get any audio. The judge left his mic off since... Oh, man. Come on. This is bad.
Back to this case. With that, if I can have everyone ready to go at 10:35, we should be able to start at that time. All rise for the jury, please.
So I did not see the witness answer a question. Does Letecia have something in her sleeve? Did she just put something in her sleeve? So the judge is the one that does control the mic in this
You
courtroom.
may all be seated. Record should reflect the jury has left the courtroom. Is there anything we need to take up outside the presence of the jury at this point in time?
No, Judge. What time did you say to come back?
10:35. Defense, anything from defense? Mr.
Yes.
Cellini or Mr. Cook?
Nothing.
Okay, court will be in recess. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, while they're in recess, while they leave there, let's see, we're going to go right here because we lost all the feeds. Okay, we keep the audio on, so the second they come back, we're going to get that. But I want to address a couple things. First of all, there was a great question which I wrote on a piece of junk mail that was sitting on my desk, and I forget. I lost the name. I think it was Michelle who asked this question. And I'm gonna save this question for when Dr. G comes on because the question was awesome. So I'm not going to try to address it now, but I will let you hear what it is. It says, if defendant snapped, is that temporary insanity? If the defendant snapped and just acted out, it was too much. She broke and killed him. Is that temporary insanity? I can't wait for his take on that, as he's a clinical psychologist and a behavioral analyst. So we're looking for that. I'm going to try. I think fingers crossed, hoping for Wednesday to have him on the show, either first thing in the morning or at lunch, whichever works best for him. But I'll be working that out in the meantime. Let's see. There was the objection that we did not hear when the defense asked to approach, and there was no real objection that was voiced. I believe that they won their objection. We had heard right before that the prosecutors saying that they were going to get into this whole miscarriage idea, that something had happened regarding a miscarriage, and I probably a relevancy objection. Maybe the judge said maybe it's just not relevant. So that's my guess there. MYG or MyYG. I'm not sure which MYG. I don't know how to say your name. It's a lot of letters. It's very few letters, but I don't know how to pronounce it. Welcome very much. Thank you for being a member on the jury. Not just the hard bench on the front row. You get the padded seat off to the side. Welcome. Thank you so much for being a jury member. Appreciate your support. Thank you. Please take your seat by typing !seat and help yourself to the emojis. It did look like a short question. It might have been really short. The judge runs the mic. He literally has the control on his desk, so he can turn the mic on and off. This is the first time he's made a mistake like that. I think we've had a hot mic before, but this is the first time he's had the mic off when it should be on, which is a little disappointing because we can't go back and get that until afterwards when the court record may become public. We might be able to read it, and by that time we really don't care. But let's see. If Letecia were to decide she wants new/different attorneys right now, would that be the result of mistrial or continue with the case? I don't think she can. She has court-appointed attorneys. These are not public defenders, but they are court-appointed, and they both have individual practices. They're very good attorneys, but they're doing a good job. It's in line with what you would expect the attorneys to do in a defense that she has raised, defense by not guilty by reason of insanity. There was a question about that not guilty by reason of insanity plea, and let me just to give you an idea of what is happening here. The jury has a couple things that they'll have to sort out based on the obligations that are resting upon the state, the duty the state has, the burden the state carries in this trial. And it's best said, I actually pulled this out of the Colorado jury instructions, which is 3,777 pages of wonderful bedtime reading material if you can't sleep. But there's a section here that talks about the insanity defense. And it says, the court reminds you that the prosecution has the burden to prove beyond a reasonable doubt each element of the crime charged, including that the defendant was not insane at the time of the commission of the act. So, yes, by saying she's not guilty by reason of insanity, it sort of is implying I did it, but I'm not culpable for it. I didn't know what was right or wrong. I was out of my mind type thing. So it's not the same as a guilty plea. So if it was the same as a guilty plea, but it was saying I'm guilty, but I'm insane, so I shouldn't be held guilty, that she would be saying, yes, I did it, but don't punish me because I'm not responsible. Then the jury would only have to decide whether or not she's guilty, whether or not she's insane. If they say, yes, she's insane, then she's not guilty of the crime because she didn't know right from wrong. But if they say she's not insane, then you would flip straight to then she says she's guilty, so she punish her. But the jury has to decide all those. They have to decide whether her sanity level, whether she was insane or not, or sane at the time of the crime, and then whether or not the state has proven each element of each of those charges, or all the required elements. Okay, defense attorney get minimum scale wage. I don't know what they pay. It's probably a preset amount, and it's probably less than what they earn in their public practice. Good attorneys generally can charge a little bit more. Splinters Gem says, Recovery Addict, if someone is insane at the time of the crime, but not insane and able to stand trial now, why not still sentenced to jail? Why mental facility if no longer insane? Okay, so let me break this down. If they're insane at the time of the crime, that means they're not guilty by reason of insanity. This is temporary insanity, is what that would be. But not insane and able to stand trial now, so they've been deemed competent to stand trial. Why not still sentenced to jail? So if they're insane and now competent, at the time they committed the crime, they're not culpable. So in that case, she could get off that way, and presumably walk away from this. I don't think that's going to happen. Let's see. Any other questions? Who pulled those jury instructions? I kid. Just glad you had them. It was Mr. Upper Torso. Mrs. Mr. Upper Torso pulled those jury instructions and sorted through all 3,777 pages to find me page 1258, I think it was, that had that reference on there. And thank you so much for that. That was wonderful. I appreciate your help there. Great stuff. Great stuff. Is there a YouTuber in the courtroom we can find out what the jury question was? There are some people in the courtroom. It might be on Twitter, but they don't know that we missed it. Does that make sense? So they think we're hearing everything. So we have to find out later and go back and sort of find out the details. No, I don't think anyone's like live tweeting the trial. I'm not even sure if they're allowed to live tweet from the trial. Let's see. We're about to hit 16K. We hit 16K this morning, Rebecca. It was awesome. Let me see where we're at. We're right there. 1657. So thank you very much. Appreciate every one of you. You're amazing. Okay, I will say that when we have a large crowd like this, it gets a little bit hard to follow the conversation. So when we get bigger in chat, as far as the community that's present, the more focused we are on the trial, the easier it is to follow the conversations. I do, as always, even when it's not busy, we don't do politics here. I think politics are a good discussion to have, and I highly recommend you participate and get involved that way. But I don't think this format is the best format to have that conversation. So we'd ask that we'd have pickles, not politics, as our little catchphrase. And let's focus on the trial and what we're here to watch instead of the few things that might separate us or divide us. From what I've heard from locals, these defense attorneys are very well respected in the area. Yes, Julius, sorry, I believe that's the case. I think they're smart. We've seen very quick, very timely objections on details, and the judge is very often sustaining those objections. They're great attorneys at what they do. This particular hand, they were dealt a crap hand, right? They were first appointed to this trial, which is probably not one they would have handpicked. They think, yeah, this is the one I'd like to, rest my reputation on type thing. It's not a fun thing to be appointed to a trial where you have all the evidence against you and a crazy but not insane client. And that's what they have. And they're doing a good job with that. When we get to the expert witnesses, I think you're going to see some very strong defense questioning of those expert witnesses. And hopefully, a good counter viewpoint from their expert that they're going to have on the stand as well. I watched the body language episode Dr. G did on Letecia. It was insightful. Eggs and spam, we've been texting back and forth, Dr. G and I, and we are planning on pulling something off together later this week where he'll be on the live stream with us. So maybe we might be able to answer a few questions. I'm gonna let him know exactly what we want to address, because we have a narrow window. He's when he says doctor, he's a doctor. He's busy. He has clients and patients. He's going to adjust his schedule to make himself available for a brief period, and we'll see what we can get for him. I'm super excited to have him on. That hopefully Wednesday we'll get that worked out. Why is Letecia allowed to read? Patrizia, she is right now in the eyes of the court innocent unless proven guilty, and as a result, she can, pretty much do what she wants. The judge can't order her to watch and look at the pictures. He can't order her to be respectful even. He can stop her from being disrespectful in ways that makes the court not function properly. Think back to Darrell Brooks, okay, and Judge. Oh my goodness. I lost Judge Doro's name for a second. It came to me. I got it. But Judge Doro could say, hey, you're disrupting the courtroom. I have the power to have you gagged, bound and gagged. I have the power to remove you to another courtroom and make you watch over a Zoom connection. The judge has the power to control the courtroom in many ways. The quorum is in the realm of things that he has the power and authority over. And so as long as she is not causing a problem there, and her flipping pings off, that was causing a problem. And so he basically said, knock it off, where, worse things can happen. The judge will control that. So the fact that she's just reading, that's allowed. She could sit there with her head down on the desk. Unfortunately, it's disrespectful. It's just super rude to all the witnesses, the people who have been sitting there in court waiting to testify, the family members of the victims. It's incredibly rude. But it's not disruptive to the court, and the judge is going to allow that as it goes on. Colorado, to be found not guilty by reason of insanity, you must have been so mentally ill at the time of the crime that you couldn't tell right from wrong. Thank you. That is also in those jury instructions. We've gone over them on a previous day, thanks to Mr. Upper Torso for those as well. She needs to be in a padded room. That interview room, did this just pop up? How did I miss this? We'll turn the sounds on just briefly. I missed things here. Tita Carrion says, good afternoon to all the lookers. Welcome. Thank you very much for the super chat. I apologize for missing that here. Let's see. Okay. Any other questions we can answer here? Rude is her nature. Are those pickles keto friendly? I've never done the keto diet. I don't even know anything about it.
I'm not a camel.
I'm not a camel. They took her pen away. Short morning break. We should be back here in about 5 minutes. She knows she's not getting out of this. Janka, in that interrogation, a couple of you mentioned hardened criminals would have broken by now, right? Under this pressure of a very, very good FBI interrogator who has her number from the get-go. He knows exactly what's going on and can call her on it. Doesn't get sucked down different conversations at all. He's just, it was so good. This is somebody at the top of his game who knows exactly what he's dealing with and calls it out as he sees it. It was a lot of fun. Paula Walker, welcome. Absolutely love your voice. Thank you. I credit this amazing mic and a cool sound system to help me sound a little better than I do normally. Did she put something in her sleeve? Bonnie, it looked like she put something. It could have been tissue, but she looked like she tucked something in her sleeve. Maybe it's a pen. Ooh, that would be bad. You realize right after the interrogation video, or shortly thereafter that video, that's when she got transported across the country, right? Colorado came and said, we're picking her up, we're taking her across to Colorado, and then in Kansas, that's when she grabbed the Monster Energy drink and attacked the officer sitting next to her and sort of made a little escape attempt, as weak as it was. But yeah, could her lawyers refuse to have taken their case? Sandy, if they had a conflict, they definitely could have gone to the judge and say, hey, I can't do this because of XYZ. Based on, I've represented a client that was a victim, or, if there was some sort of conflict in the case, a lot like we've seen with Sarah Boone, where she had many different lawyers appointed to her case, and some of them had represented her deceased husband previously against her in an abuse case. There's a conflict. You get excused for that. Some of them had other clients who were witnesses in this case. There's a conflict. You get excused for that. These lawyers did not have a conflict and were appointed, and so they can't just quit right now. When you're appointed to a case, the judge has to authorize you being removed. So unless there was some just unbelievably massive medical event that made them, or maybe even a personal emergency, a family emergency that made it impossible for them to proceed, they're pretty much stuck on this case until it's done. The mod wife is here, says, came in a bit late, just caught up. I'm here. Thanks for being here. Who are the people in the gallery behind Letecia? Probably reporters. I think a couple of them have laptops out, and generally those will be the reporters that are tracking things and blogging the case and things like that. I underestimated her intelligence. I felt like confessing, but psychopaths don't have a conscience. Yeah, she never confessed. Never confessed. Her body language. A couple of you said this is the confession pose type thing. Her body language, she folded in on herself. She was just hunched over, all crossed up, holding still. It looked like she was very close to breaking, but she would not break. Hope says, recovery addict. LS said, I've seen so many interrogation videos online. I know what you're trying to do, and I appreciate you for it. Your research didn't save you much. P-Pants. Yeah, she clearly has studied this a little bit and saw what was happening. And I've, as someone who's been interrogated in an interrogation room, I can tell you, it's intimidating. First of all, to be sitting there and tell your story, and I walked in there thinking I'm helping the police, right? I'm telling them what I know about a situation that was very dangerous, and some people broke the law, and unfortunately, some people need to pay the price to society because of it. So I'm testifying, or in an interrogation, I'm sharing my experience, what I saw, what I witnessed, who was involved, type thing, and they leave and they come back in, and suddenly I have bad cop in my face, and he's yelling at me, and he's telling me I'm lying, and he's questioning on this and this, and why do we've got a witness that says you this, and I was so thrown off my guard. I thought I was like almost in control, even though I realized I'm in a room with a camera and a one-way glass window. It was crazy. I don't know how she did this. I don't know how she did that and didn't break. We'll have to tell the good cop, bad cop story some other time when we've got a few minutes. We're about to be coming back to court here any second now. How is she allowed to plug her ears? I don't know if the judge knows that she's plugging her ears, and quite honestly, I don't think it's effective. I don't recommend you sticking stuff in your ears, but let me just say, some of us have tried making our own earplugs out of tissue, and it's not the best material. It makes it a little bit quieter, but she is still hearing everything that's going on there. So I think it's almost for show that she's showing that she's not listening. That might be more important to her.
Thank you. You may all be seated.
Than her actually not hearing.
Court will recall 20 CR 1358, People versus Letecia Stauch. Record should reflect the jury's not present in the courtroom. Is there anything we need to take up outside the presence of the jury at this point in time? Prosecution?
No, Your Honor.
Defense?
No, sir.
All right. They just left it in their seats. Okay. Let's go ahead and bring the jury in.
Letecia definitely holds her own.
Bring the jury.
Jennifer Perut says, if she tries to flirt with them, would that be an excuse? Or if she hit them like in the van? Look at Shabusiness. Didn't her lawyer say, look, Judge, I have to withdraw. She's attacked me in the courtroom. We clearly can't work together. That might be a reason to withdraw.
Just wanted to send a thank you, RA.
Thank you very much, Amy. I'm going to turn the sound effects down now just for trial so we don't get testimony interrupted.
All right, for the jury, please.
You guys figure it out. You do them first.
Was it not Shabusiness? Did I get the other name right? Wasn't she the one that attacked her lawyer in jail, or in the courtroom? I might have my cases mixed up. It was? Okay.
Everybody okay? Thank you. May all be seated. Court will recall 20 CR 1358, People versus Letecia Stauch. Record should reflect the jury is not present in the courtroom. Prosecution, call your next witness, please.
The jury is
Thank you, Your
present.
Honor. We would call Special Agent David Donati. And while Mr. Donati is walking up to be sworn in, we've already put People's Exhibits 281 through 289 in the witness stand. They're photographs.
Okay.
So somebody might have tripped in the witness stand or something like that.
Sorry, Special Agent Donati, if you would raise your right hand, please, sir. Do you swear affirm the testimony that this man will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Go ahead and have a seat in the witness stand. Please watch your step as you step into the stand.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. Doing fine.
Thank you. Good. Will you please introduce yourself to the jury and then spell your name for the record?
My name is David Donati, spelled D as in David, Onati. I'm a special agent with the FBI.
How long have you been with the FBI?
For 12 years now.
What are your responsibilities with the FBI?
Well, I've worked in a lot of different places. Currently, I work in the Minneapolis division doing criminal investigations. I started off my career in Lander, Wyoming, which is an RA or resident agency on the Wind River Indian Reservation. I spent 3.5 years there, and then I came to Colorado Springs and spent about 5 years here.
What were the years that you were in Colorado Springs?
2015, probably from April of 2015 to September of 2020.
All right. What kind of cases have you investigated?
I've done a multitude of things, everything mostly in the violent crime aspect, everything from bank robberies to missing persons, homicide investigations, kidnappings, bank robberies.
Okay. What kind of training do you have that allows you to be a FBI agent?
To be an FBI agent, you attend the New Agent Academy, which is about 20 weeks at Quantico, Virginia. There we learn a series of different things, everything from interviewing to collecting of evidence to all the other duties that a special agent does. I've also attended other training during my service with the FBI, which is helps you to be better at your job and continuing training as collecting evidence and interviewing people.
As it relates to the case that we're here for, how did you become involved in the investigation into Gannon Stauch's disappearance?
Early on in the investigation, we were contacted by the El Paso County Sheriff's Office about a missing juvenile, and they asked our office to assist. And at the time, I was assigned as the case agent to help with that assist.
Did you at some point assist removing some items from a VW Tiguan?
Yes, I believe that was on February 7th of 2020.
So let's talk about the Tiguan, at least as far as you knew it. Did you understand that to be associated with the defendant in the case?
Yes, I understood it to be the vehicle that that she owned and that she drove.
What were you tasked to do as it relates to that particular vehicle?
On that particular vehicle, I was tasked to assist. I had other people that helped me collect the what is called the telematics system from the vehicle. And that's several different components that has the ability to store data of the vehicle while it's being operated.
Specifically, what kind of data were you looking for or hoping to get out of the telematics?
Well, every vehicle is different. Every manufacturer is different. But we do know that these systems do store everything from dates and times to actual GPS coordinates. And some vehicles do also store things like when the vehicle was in motion, when the vehicle was stopped, different systems on the car running, things like that. So, like I said, depending on what that vehicle manufacturer and that data consisted of, it can tell you a lot. And some vehicles, it doesn't tell you much.
What does that process look like, removing the telematics from a vehicle?
So the telematics systems can be stored in several different places. There is items that are called the infotainment system, the electronic control modules that store this information. In this particular vehicle, there were 3 different items that we were looking for, and most of those are contained in the dash or under the dash somewhere.
Were you able to find those particular items for this particular vehicle on that February 7th date?
We did. We collected 3 different items from the vehicle, and that involved removing some sections of the dash to get to those.
Do you yourself then analyze those components to get this data that you're looking for or hoping to get?
No, that is then what I do is I collect those components as evidence. I enter them into our computer, and then I put them in FedEx shipping and ship them to Virginia, our headquarters, where the experts can then analyze the data.
Okay, is that what you did in this case?
I did.
So I want to direct your attention to the photographs that I put on the desk there in front of you. It should be People's Exhibits 281 through 289. Do you see those?
Yes, I do.
Will you please flip through those and then let me know when you're done looking at them?
I'm done.
Do you recognize those photographs?
I do.
What are they of generally?
So the photographs of the Volkswagen Tiguan that I believe to be owned and driven by the defendant, it was located in the El Paso County's vehicle bay where they store their evidence.
And are those photographs fair and accurate representations as to what you saw and in the removal process of this infotainment center?
Absolutely, yes. I actually took these photographs as we removed them from the vehicle.
All right. Your Honor, at this time, I'd move for admission and permission to publish 281 through 289.
Defense?
No objection.
281 through 289 will be admitted.
Thank you. We're connected back over here now, Judge.
We should be showing these pictures here in just a moment. I'll see if I can take them full screen. Depends how clear they are. Waiting for a signal. I think the judge forgot to push a button, maybe.
In just a moment, we're going to be projecting 281 up behind you. And just as a housekeeping matter, there should be a pointer there in the witness box, and a telescoping pointer of some kind. You can either use that to point at the photograph itself, or you can just describe it by looking at the photo in front of you.
Okay.
Either one that you want to use. So we've got 281 up behind you. So let's look at the left side first. That's what looks like a shipping label. What is that?
That is exactly what you said. It's a FedEx shipping label where I package the items, use the FedEx computer system, and entered the information on where I wanted to send it to. And I believe the date on that was February 10th. It's hard to see on the screen, but it's the shipping date.
And it's kind of awkward the way that we've got to do this. So if you stand up and, oops, go back, please. If you stand up and are talking about what's in the photograph, just make sure that our furthest jurors can hear you. The microphone doesn't pick it up very well.
Sorry about that. So this is the shipping label that I used, and I believe the date was February 10th when I shipped it out.
Is it typical to collect items and then ship them out a couple of days later?
It is. One, I have to enter everything into the computer. That document has to be signed by my supervisor before I get the numbers, which are our tracking, our evidence tracking ability. So sometimes that takes a day or 2 days. then I can package it up and send it out for FedEx.
How is it stored in the meantime?
Our facility is a controlled storage for evidence collection.
Is there any opportunity for the data that's on these devices to be altered or changed while you're waiting that shipment process?
No, there's not.
Okay. And then on the right side of People's Exhibit 281, is that the vehicle?
Yes, this is the 2019 Volkswagen Tiguan that I believe the defendant to be driving.
Was that belief based off of information that you had gathered during the course of this investigation?
It was.
All right, 282? What's in 282?
In this picture, we're more centered on this, the glove compartment area. And this would be the information electronic control module that will be removed. It sits right here. It has kind of a plastic cover, but once we remove it, I think there's another photograph of that.
When you're going through this process, are you basically just gaining access to the thing and then unplugging it and pulling it out?
Yeah, there's basically that's it. In some situations, like around the display module, there's molding that comes on everybody's dash that is popped out or removed. That's usually in by clips. Every once in a while, there's a screw or something like that that needs to be removed.
And then just so that we're understanding what's happening in this photograph, why does it appear that there's white powder on everything in there?
This vehicle had gone through a previous evidence collection, and I forget what the name of that is, but that's like a luminol.
Blue Star?
Is Blue Star.
Okay.
That's used to under lights to detect evidence of other types of evidence like blood or other things like that.
So is that basically just the residue of the Blue Star, what it looks like once it dries?
It is.
Okay.
Yes.
283?
And this box here, the front is what you saw in the other picture would be on this side of this silver box. And then all the cables come like very similar to a computer component. They can be unplugged and pulled out.
Did you in fact unplug this unit and pull it out? And that's one of the things that was shipped off to Quantico, Virginia?
Yes.
All right. 284?
And this is the item sitting on the bench top just to get a better focused picture of it.
Same item that was in.
Same item that we've just talked about.
Okay, perfect. 285?
This is the infotainment display. This is usually on vehicles where your radio is seen, or if you have a backup camera, things like that. So this piece that is removed here was the venting above it, and the piece that we are collecting as evidence is this display system. You see a knob right here.
Okay. 286?
This is the back of that unit. The face would be facing the gear shift right there.
So is that on the face that's sort of facing down towards the gear shift, or is that basically that touch screen that's in a lot of modern cars?
Exactly. It's a touch screen that, like I said, usually allows you to change the radio or do the air conditioning, a lot of other features. Some of them have mapping systems, things like that.
287?
This is a little bit harder to see, but this would be the emergency call module. It is located inside the dash behind the steering wheel.
Okay.
You'll see a better picture when we actually get it out.
288?
And this is that same item, the emergency call module.
So that comes out of the left side of the dashboard, left of the steering wheel?
It comes out of I couldn't tell you exactly which side of the steering wheel from memory, but yes, it's the left side. It's the driver's side of the vehicle, kind of back behind the steering wheel. So you had to remove some components of the dash to get to it.
And then that should be 288. That's up there now. So let's look at 289.
And this is that same item on the table where you can see it a little bit better.
Okay. You can go ahead and sit back down.
Letecia is looking at the pictures.
Tell the jury, you mentioned that this will go into a temporary storage at your facility, and then you will package it up to ship it. How do you ensure that what you're shipping and what is received is the same thing?
Good question. We have several ways of doing that. We have an evidence tracking form that goes with it that talks about who handled that product. But the items itself actually get packaged inside a box. It gets the red evidence tape over the top so that during shipping, there's anybody that would tamper with it, that tape would be ripped, the box would be open. So we can say that if it gets there and that tape is secure, that the item was not tampered with during shipment.
Once an item gets analyzed, do you know what happens with the data that may or may not come off of these units when you ship them off to Quantico?
Whenever that evidence is finalized and they get some information off, they would then send it back to us in a similar manner. It would be packaged with red evidence tape and put in FedEx and sent back to us.
If there is location data that's included in the data that's pulled off of that, is that made available to other members of the FBI to potentially map that information?
Yes. So when they pull that information off, they can send it to us. That helps us because we're in the middle of an investigation. And as soon as we can get that information, it definitely helps us quicker. A lot of times we get information sent via email or something like that. It would show us data points or GPS coordinates that we could plot on a map on a computer system and overlay it with like something that you'd be familiar with is like Google Maps with different points plotted on it.
Did that happen in this case where information came back from Quantico with location data for this particular vehicle?
It did. It came back relatively quickly, but that information is kind of raw data, and they tell us that it's not has not been certified or verified yet. So they tell us to look at it and use other means to try to corroborate that information. But I did get the data points early on in the investigation.
Did you give that information then to Special Agent Kevin Hoyland to go through that mapping process that you just described?
Yes, I did.
And do you know whether that was successfully done or not?
Yes, it was successfully done.
Okay. Your Honor, may I have just a moment?
May.
That's all I have.
Cross-examination?
No questions, Your Honor.
Do any of the jurors have any questions for Special Agent Donati? No? All right. Thank you, sir. You may step down.
Thank you.
Prosecution, call your next witness, please.
It was a quick witness.
We'll call Special Agent Dwight Falkowski.
It's probably going to pursue these same
Okay.
evidence chain. Let's go back and see what Letecia's doing.
Before Mr. Falkowski takes a stand, would it be possible for defense and I to approach just briefly?
Oh, sure.
The judge always says yes on this one, so we're going to take a quick peek right over. Well, let's go over here. Let's see who else is in court right now. I think that's our next witness right there who's waiting. You can see Al briefly now that the man in the gray suit, Al's leaning over talking to his, I believe, current wife, who's been with him pretty much every day in court.
Right. Agent Delkowski, if you would raise your right hand, please, sir. Step on up a little bit.
Yeah, you can come up in here.
It's all right. You swear affirm the testimony about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Go ahead and have a seat in the witness stand. Please watch your step as you step into the stand.
Never heard someone say I will before to that question, but I will. Judge accepted it.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Will you please introduce yourself to our jury and then spell your name for the court reporter?
My name is Dwight Falkowski. Last name is spelled Falkofske.
Mr. Falkowski, who do you work for?
I work for the FBI.
What do you do for the FBI?
I work as an automotive forensic specialist, and I want to expound on that.
Yes, please.
So that involves taking parts from vehicles, cars that have been that are brought to us, and we go in and find the data inside the vehicles, and we extract the data and then recraft it into a format that's human readable so we can find out stuff that the car has contained, such as location data or phones or devices that have been connected to the car and the data associated with those things.
All right. So what kind of training allows you to do that job?
I'm an electrical engineer by a bachelor's of science from Virginia Tech. I have other items on my CV that I could put out for you for FBI training if you'd like.
Sure. Yeah. So let's start with that, the FBI training.
Okay. Let me pull out my CV.
Okay.
So witness number 52 out of 149 possibles. We don't know if they're going to do all 149. We have had 2 repeats so far. I think we could probably drop
with the FBI, I've taken DEMS training, that's Digital Evidence Management Systems, digital evidence handling, legal ethics training, CDART mentorship and proficiency testing. That is a specialized internal thing. A little explanation there is previously I worked for the FBI as a contractor that allowed contractors to handle evidence in their facility. And also I have testified as an expert witness now twice.
Okay. How long have you, you said, I think, an electrical engineer. How long have you been an electrical engineer?
My degree was from Virginia Tech in 1992.
Okay. What's your investigative experience? How many different investigations have you been involved with?
More than I can contend with at the moment. I have an estimate on my CV. One moment.
Sure.
Let's see.
It's interesting. Some witnesses have their CV memorized.
I've listed over 70 devices that I've examined since 2018.
Okay. What kind of devices have you examined? And I'm not asking you to give us an exhaustive list, but just a generalized idea of what kind of devices that you've worked on in your role as an FBI agent.
Okay, I'll give you the primary 2 pieces that I typically see from vehicles. And one is the infotainment system, which is the center portion of your car that provides you with information about, like, if you're navigating or what music you're playing, that hardware. Also, another piece of hardware that we pull from the cars is a telematics device. This is a piece that typically talks back to the corporation that's providing connected services.
Okay. And you mentioned that you've testified as an expert witness. What jurisdictions were those expert witness testimonies provided in?
Both were in South Carolina.
Okay. Was that with the Alex Murdaugh case?
Yes, one with the Murdaugh case.
Okay.
Boom.
What was your assignment back in 2020? Same assignment as what you're testifying to today?
Clarify, please.
What was your assignment with the FBI in 2020?
In 2020?
Yes.
So 2020, I was doing the same work as a contractor with the FBI.
Okay. Did you have an occasion to work on some devices as it relates to the Gannon Stauch investigation?
Yes.
Before I do that, Your Honor, at this time I've moved to qualify this witness as an expert witness in automotive forensic specialists.
Defense?
Let's see if they're good with it.
I don't have an objection. That's fine.
All right, the witness will be so qualified. Go ahead.
So as it relates to the devices that you examined in this case, what devices did you look at?
There were 4 pieces that I examined, and I have, I don't have the list of them in front of me, but there were 4 pieces from the vehicle. I knew that some pieces that we had worked on were not valuable in extracting data from, but there were one in particular, the infotainment system from that car was probably the primary one we looked at.
Okay. When you say 4 pieces, does that mean that one of the modules had an SD card in it or something like that, that expanded it out to 4?
No.
Okay.
The 4 physical pieces. And it should be listed in the hardware list or on the in the evidence that I've provided, the digital evidence, derivative evidence, there are 4 listings there, and it shows explicitly on each piece what was provided, and it includes pictures.
Okay. And then as it relates to your work, did you have 2 different efforts towards gathering this information? One that was an initial uncertified basically result, and then a second that was more in-depth?
Yes. So I'll go ahead and explain the situation around that, if that's okay.
Yes.
So it came to us initially as an active search for a missing child, and in which case we prioritized something like that and put it, we're working on that now. And so when we initially got the pieces in, it was from a vehicle that we had not previously looked at, so we had no idea of what it might contain or the data in it. So we provided a very fast analysis on the system at that point and was able to extract location data out of that vehicle. But then part of our standard processes, when we develop tools to get data off of vehicles, we have to validate them later, which requires a much more exhaustive effort to show that the data that we're putting on a system is exactly what we're getting off. So when I say this data point represents the vehicle in this location, that is accurate. So it took us an additional approximate year or so to finish that validation process.
Okay. So when you have that initial effort that you get that unvalidated data, what did you do with it, that unvalidated data?
We provided it as preliminary data back to the field.
Okay. And then that secondary effort that you mentioned was roughly a year down the road from that first effort. Was that data, did that basically validate all the data, including the data that you had sent the first time?
That's correct. And there were also, I believe there was a little bit of additional data provided as we found more data on the system over time.
Okay. Was there any discrepancy in the data? And what I mean by that is that the initial data that you provided early on, was any of that data that you provided to the investigation proven wrong based on the secondary release of data?
No, that data proved accurate.
Okay. So when we're talking about the item that was given fruitful information towards this investigation, what was that particular device?
The head unit. There was 4 devices. I believe it's the item that ends with 04. Is that?
Well, you're the expert. I can't.
Okay,
I don't know where it came from. All I know is it magically appears.
All right, give me a moment. Let me pull out some records and so I can find what we're looking for. Okay, I do have the list here.
Okay.
So you want me to go through all 4 pieces or just this one?
Well, so let me ask you just a clarifying question before we go down that path. Did you look at all of the items that you received from Colorado Springs to see if there was going to be any useful information on all of them?
Yes, we evaluated each piece.
And then through that evaluation, did you determine, based on what you've already said, that only one was going to provide any useful location data?
That's correct.
Okay, so let's talk about that one then.
Okay.
What particular item are we talking about that provided useful location data for this investigation?
Okay, it was the information ECM, that's electronic control module, basically the head unit that I explained before, from a 2019 Volkswagen Tiguan.
Who did you receive these items from?
From our internal evidence control facility.
Okay. But when you get it from your internal evidence control facility, can you tell like what case it's being sent from?
The case number is with it, yes.
Okay. And can you verify that it belongs to a Volkswagen Tiguan that was seized in Colorado Springs as opposed to, let's say, Seattle, Washington?
Yes, we have a chain of evidence maintained in the digital evidence management system.
And the information that we're talking about here, was that in relation to this specific case that we're having you testify on?
All right, I'm sorry, say one more time.
The evidence that we're talking about here, the location data that you were able to pull, can you verify that that information relates to our case that you're testifying in today?
Yes.
Okay. So tell the jury, how do you get the information off of this electronic control module head unit?
You want to go into specifics?
Yeah. Tell the jury how that works.
I'm going to pull out my notes from that. Okay, when I'm processing the evidence, this is what we did to this particular piece of evidence. We first labeled the evidence with the evidence item number and took photographs of it in its state as received. Then we disassembled the specimen, removed the circuit boards, and removed some of the memory flash chips from the circuit board that was inside. And from the flash chips, then we were able to read those flash chips using a tool so that we would have what was a binary image provided that represents the data that was inside those flash chips. Now that data is in a digital format readable by computers and not necessarily understandable by humans. And so this is where our processes continue.
So let me break in there just so that we're understanding.
Okay.
When you say that you pull a chip off and then you read it, do you mean that you're physically looking at it and reading information off of it?
We have specialized tools that access the chip and can read the chip in its proper protocols to be able to pull the data off correctly.
And were you able to successfully do that in this particular case?
Yes, for 2 chips.
For 2 chips off of this electronic control module circuit board?
That's correct.
Okay. Do you then look at the data before you send it back to the investigative arm or area?
Yes. So this case, at this point in the stage, you've only got a binary image with no understanding of what the data means. Okay. And so there was processing performed at this point.
So tell us about the processing.
Okay. So part of this is we were able to extract logical file systems from the image. And from the logical file systems, we combed the files that we found for information that might be related to location of the vehicle, because that was stated as an item of interest. And from that, we found, one moment. We quickly found that there was some location data available in some computer logs that were on there in a textual format that were very easy to access, which allowed us to quickly, within 1 day, write a parsing tool that would go out and pull that data from those logs. And that data was represented with coordinates and timestamps.
And when you say coordinates, do you mean like GPS coordinates?
Yeah, geocoordinates.
Geocoordinates?
Yeah.
When you get those geocoordinates out of that log that you're describing, what do you do with it?
So we prepare it into a format that is usable for us humans. I can give you a coordinate, but then you're going to have to go out and type those coordinates into a thing like Google Earth to be able to see them. So we take that and provide, the parser takes the information and puts it into a file that you can just throw into Google Earth. It's called a KML file. And that file will automatically populate the locations and times of the vehicle on a map.
Okay. So how do you get that information back to the originating investigative region?
So in this case, we also provided let me just add there, because of the nature of the search, we went ahead and looked at some of the data and provided a PDF as well, along with the KML file to say, here's some points of interest you may want to go look at. And that was, I'm just seeing which method was provided back. It was provided back to the field. I believe that was over electronic communication.
Okay. Do you know who you provided it to?
So I wrote down here the case agent, which I guess at the time that might have been Donati.
Okay. So Special Agent David Donati?
Yes.
Okay. What day did you provide that to him? Do you have that information?
I have the date that I had the review. February 12th, 2020.
Okay. And then is it common for field agents to then potentially give that information to other potential experts, FBI or not FBI, to then do some sort of mapping with this data that you're providing?
Absolutely. It's their call what they do with the data.
Okay. The should be up there on the desk with you. I put the exhibit envelope. Should be People's Exhibit 291. Do you see that?
This thing?
Yep.
Okay.
You see that? Do you recognize it?
Is there something inside I need to look at?
Well, do you recognize it or not?
I do not.
Okay. Do you remember, did you put the information on some sort of a card, or SD card, or something like that?
I put on an SD card, yes.
Okay. The information that was contained in that SD card, was that provided back to the field to Special Agent David Donati?
That was provided, yes, at a later time.
Okay. How was that provided to him?
Okay, so that as I was speaking earlier, we had about a year's time pass where we provided the validation of the data. So when our evaluation of the whole process was complete to our satisfaction, then we provided this evidence in totality and in confidence back to the field through the SD card.
Okay. And so what we have in People's Exhibit 291, is that the information that you provided back to the field based on your extraction of the data from those modules?
I see it says SD card, but I don't see the SD card here. So
okay. So do you remember prior to you getting on the stand, me asking if you'd had a chance to look at this item or?
I looked at the SD card and I initialed the SD card. Is that not available?
Okay, so that should be in that envelope.
In the envelope. Okay, I just wanted to check.
There should be some scissors there to your left.
Okay. I will open the envelope.
Yep.
That was a funny little dance, as he's supposed to say, yes, he recognizes what's inside there, and he didn't. So the lawyer had to sort of lead him around to say it's inside the envelope. But apparently he was not the one who sealed it. So
is that what you looked at?
That is what I looked at. Okay. This is the evidence we provided.
All right.
I did not recognize the package it was in.
Okay. So is that the same SD card that was provided in this investigation that contained that location data that you sent back to the field investigator, Special Agent David Donati?
Yes.
Is it fair and accurate representation of that data that you recovered from that electronic control module back on February 12th of 2020?
Yes, I verified it just shortly before this meeting.
Your Honor, at this time, I move for admission of People's Exhibit 291.
Defense?
Can I ask just what a couple questions?
On authenticity? Yes,
The
go ahead.
exhibit.
Go ahead.
Yes. Special Agent, hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
Just quickly, this SD card information you have, is this the verified stuff that came approximately a year after February 2020?
That's correct.
Okay, this isn't the initial.
This is not the preliminary data.
Okay.
It does include the preliminary data that we provided at that time as well.
Okay. And how is the preliminary data different from the final data that you got at a year later?
So the preliminary data was what we initially found during a compressed timeline to try to locate a missing child. And later on proved to be accurate in its totality. There were some potential additions to the data as we continued to process it over that year.
Okay. Were there any discrepancies or inconsistencies between the preliminary data and the final data that was published or released a year later?
No.
Okay. Your Honor, I don't have an objection.
All right. Exhibit 291 will be admitted.
I don't think this is the phone experiment guy from the Oxford.
That was the some of my questions, Your Honor.
Cross-examination, Mr. Cook?
No, Your Honor.
Do any of the jurors have any questions for Agent Falkowski? No? All right. Thank you, sir. You may step down.
Thank you.
Before you get down, we just put that SD card back in that.
It is in the envelope, but it's not sealed. Here's.
Yeah, if that SD card can't go missing, that would be bad. Okay, so we're going to go ahead
Counsel approach for a moment.
Ooh, might be talking about lunchtime, maybe. Let's see.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, trials are sort of a dicey business. Sometimes witnesses go faster than you think, and sometimes they take longer than what you think.
We're going faster.
The good news and the bad news here is the same, which is these witnesses are going a little bit faster. which means that there's about 45 minutes that we would normally use that we're not going to. So what that means is that you're going to have a longer lunch. We will have all of these witnesses coming in at 1:30. So if you can come back or be back in the jury room at 1:30 and be ready to proceed at that point in time, we should be able to start on time. Again, do not discuss the case among yourselves. Do not discuss the case with anyone else. Do not do your own independent research about any aspect of your case. With that, all rise for the jury, please.
What does she have in her pockets? Sorry, that was a very bad Lord of the Rings reference there. Tisha's got her hands in her pockets.
You may all be seated. Record should reflect the jury has left the courtroom. Is there anything we need to take up outside the presence of the jury at this point in time? Prosecution?
Judge, just to expand a little bit on that issue as far as witnesses, just looking ahead a little bit. So we've got two witnesses scheduled to finish out today, Judge. They're local witnesses. And then our next witnesses are, I think, not available until tomorrow morning. We have three witnesses lined up for tomorrow morning. One of which is Dr. Grimmett, who now lives in Hawaii. I think flew in maybe.
She's here.
Okay, she flew in at 6 a.m. this morning. Special Agent Kevin Hoyland from the FBI is from the East Coast. He's actually flying in today. I'm not sure exactly what time he gets in. And then Dr. Moore from the jail is where she used to work. She no longer works there, I don't believe. Is that right?
She's in Kansas.
She lives in Kansas now.
Okay.
And just along those same lines, we've got what appears to be 7-ish witnesses left, Judge.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. Well, if we have some holes or some gaps here and there, I mean,
We
you
are
guys
almost
have done a good job in being efficient and moving things along. So I think we're ahead of schedule, and I understand when we get towards the end of trial, that's usually where the holes start to appear because you've got a limited number of witnesses that you're trying to get to rearrange and schedule. So I get that.
Yeah.
Is Dr. Grimmett the only one that you're going to call from CMHIP? Or are you
No,
Torres or Gray?
Torres is also from CMHIP.
And you're going to call her?
I believe so, Judge.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
And then just for scheduling, we initially thought about bringing Dr. Lewis in to testify on Friday, but based upon the district attorney not being sure they're going to be done before then, we've pushed her back, flying in this weekend. The idea they should be testifying on Monday.
Okay. So it's possible that
we're not
Friday
We'll
may be a
have-
down day.
We may have Friday afternoon.
Well, we
Not
can
out, but I don't know.
we can talk about jury instructions, see where we are then. We ought to have some idea. We ought to be pretty close because it sounds to me like most likely will be done sometime next week. That's fair?
Yes, I would say that's very fair.
Okay. So we can talk about jury instructions on Friday and see where we are. They look to be in pretty good shape, frankly. Mr. Tellini, can you get me a theory of defense by Friday?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, if I get them Thursday, because I've kind of cruised through them, but I haven't looked at them specifically. So I'll have any defense instructions or any other instructions from the defense by Friday.
Yeah, just give me some idea so that, okay.
Wow.
Okay. Then we will see everybody at 1:30 this afternoon. Thank you.
All rise.
Okay, so 1:30 this afternoon is actually a 4:30 Eastern time. So let's talk a little bit about what just happened. The last two witnesses we just had were witnesses that laid the groundwork for some evidence that was collected and admitted into the court. That evidence was the physical or record physical copies of the records that they retrieved from the Tiguan, from the navigation computer, from the electronic components inside the car that tracks what the car is doing and how the car is doing it and where it goes and things like that. So the first witness was the one that was showing the pictures of the car, and you saw the powder inside the car. He's the one that actually extracted the hardware, and he packaged it up and he sent it to the second witness. That second witness is the one who sort of extracted the data. And I realize he's not the most eloquent of witnesses. This is only like the third time he's testified as an expert witness, and the other two were probably involving Murdaugh or something like that, both in South Carolina. So it's not important that he's not an eloquent witness. He's just the guy that did the crunching of the data and extracted it and made it into a report and then forwarded it on. So now we have that forwarded on. We have the information collected. Now it can be referenced as evidence by experts who can analyze it. So that's why they were very quick. There was no cross-examination to speak of on either of those, even though there was a little bit of voir there for the second one. But that's where we are. So now we only have 2 more witnesses today, and they're going to come after lunch. We've got a 2-hour lunch is what I'm showing, because it's just about 1:30 now. We've got 9 minutes to 1:30. We're coming back at 3:30, which is 1:30 Colorado time, to have these last 2 witnesses today. And the most important part is we only have 7 witnesses left on the prosecution side. So 2 of them today leaves 5. 5 witnesses in 4 days. They should be done by the end of the week, roughly. And defense has said, we're not sure if they're going to be done or not by Friday, so we've scheduled our witness to come in on Monday. So it sounds like we're going to go at least until Monday, unless the schedule really shuffles. I'm not sure if defense can bring their witness in for Friday if they need to. Sounds like we're going at least to Monday, and then we could be in jury watch as early as Monday afternoon. Verdict watch. So yeah, we're getting close to the end here. The defense, to my knowledge, only has one witness on their schedule, and it's going to be somebody who testifies as to her mental state at the time of the crime. So yeah, 7 more witnesses, which could make it 59 of the 149 on the list. They had so many options, Amber, so many options. And this is what the prosecution does, and they did the same thing in the Murdaugh trial, is they put a list of all the people they could call to testify. And they said, these are all the people that you've interviewed. You know, they have little bits of information, evidence. We may not even bring some of it's not even relevant. We're not even going to bring it up. But in case they needed to, they put them all down on the list, 149 of them. It looks like they're using less than half. So we have 7 more. It's just shy of half of the witnesses that they're going to have. Okay, so yeah, only one witness, Paul, on the defense. That's the defense. And you guys have asked, didn't she plead guilty by reason of insanity? That's a trick. She pled not guilty by reason of insanity. So the NGRI plea in Colorado, and the way Colorado handles this, which is different than some other states. Other states will say you've got to prove that you are insane. In Colorado, they say the state has to prove that you were sane. So the state has the burden to prove her sanity, and then they also have the burden to prove that she did all these crimes. They have to prove the elements of the crime so that the jury can convict. So they have a double burden going on here. There's not much the defense has to do. The judge has asked for a theory of defense from Letecia's defense by Friday, and they're going to put that together just to see how they're going to play forward. Okay, you're playing catch-up. Janet, we have an emoji for that. We have a catch-up emoji. We've had to catch up on trials before, and it's good. You've got some great stuff. And Janet, if you missed Friday, that's the day you're really going to want to catch up on, because that's where we had the Cash Baby Bump story brought out. If found guilty, does this judge sentence right then like some do? Mr. Drafer, I don't know if they do a mandatory evaluation prior to sentencing like we saw with Mark Jensen most recently. I think we're also seeing that with, there's another one. ZA, does he get the mandatory examination first, or they'll do some tests before they actually sentence? I don't know, but the judge is the one that's going to give the sentence. I don't believe jury does in Colorado. All right, let's see. Cash belly emoji, yes. I wish we had a better one. That's the best I could do. It's sort of pastel, but it gives you the idea of what's going on. Okay. They've done a great job with their witnesses. Lisa, if every trial could be like this one from prosecution, this has been so easy to follow. The process, the order they've put them on has been phenomenal. It's sort of built on each other logically most of the way through, and that's not easy to do. It really is not. Murdaugh seemed to be a lot more sporadic and jumping around, and it might have been availability issues there that caused that. But this has been really fun and easy to watch for that reason. Let's see. Idaho, Mississippi, Oklahoma, Utah, and South Carolina have a firing squad for death penalty. Colorado has death penalties not on the table. They banned it the same year that she got charged, and they elected not to pursue that. I think either way it would have been overturned had they pursued it after they banned the execution. Krista, thank you very much. Birthday, by the way. Happy birthday. Witness impact statements, that will also be a factor. Does the prosecution have a rebuttal witness? They may. We haven't heard yet if they're going to do that or not. Bipolar Bear says, I think I'm blocked from chat. I don't think so. I see you just fine. Welcome. There's usually pre-sentence investigation, PSI prior to sentencing. That's what we saw with Mark Jensen. I just don't know how Colorado handles that. It might be a month or two delay between the conviction and the sentencing. Okay. I believe there will be victim impact statements. Not every day can be a cash baby day. Okay. Is Landon on the witness list of the 7? I believe Landon is on the witness list, but she may not be called. Is it just me, or does Ellis's lawyer sound like George I think it's George McFly, Crispin Glover in Back to the Future? I'd have to watch it again. It's a shame that I can't just recall immediately what he sounds like. I failed in my pop culture quiz. Let's see. Dr. Lewis has the HBO documentary. She's completely bonkers and laughingstock of the psychiatric community, says Tiffany. How do you become a member? There are 2 ways, Barbara. Either you can change the settings on this channel for YouTube where you allow membership gifts, or you could purchase one. It's often easier to do on a computer than on a smartphone, especially if you're on an Apple device. Currently, it's not easy on an Apple device. YouTube's going to fix that at the cost of giving all the proceeds to Apple instead, but they are going to fix that here soon. Not sure how I feel about that. Okay. Thank you all for being here. It's been fantastic. I appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and take a lunch, I think. We've got a couple things to look forward to this week that I'd invite you to come back to. One of them, a big one that I'm excited about, is Dr. G Explains from YouTube. Another great YouTuber who's been following this. Also, he is a clinical psychologist as well as a behavioral analyst. He has a lot of experience doing exactly what we've been enjoying doing at this trial, which is watching people either who are crazy or who pretend to be crazy and sort of breaking that down. So we're looking forward to putting that together. I'll be reaching out to him over lunch and just try to hammer out those details. I think it'll be Wednesday, either beginning of the day or lunchtime if that works with the schedule. So if you'd like to watch and hear what he has to say, please do hit the subscribe button and come back. Also, after lunch, we will be giving away the internet again to the first person in chat, which is something we do every time we go live. So if you'd like that to be you, please just go ahead and hit subscribe and ring the bell. And then as soon as you get noticed, just pop in chat. It happens usually the chat opens up about 5 minutes after I close this one, because I get it ready for the next stream, and that's when you have to be first. So if you want to be first, just be that person, and you will win the internet. It's a great honor, and it also goes on your rap sheet, because it should. All right. Does anyone know the one witness, the expert witness for them? I don't remember the doctor's name right now. Thank you, 420 Glitz GMA. Appreciate it. Is Dr. G on today? Chris, I've been texting him. He needs about a day to schedule because he does have to move some of his appointments and to make room with his clients because he is a practicing doctor. So we need about a day's heads up, and tomorrow's not working for his schedule, so Wednesday will be the soonest. So we'll try for that, and I'll let you know how that goes. Okay, Ivan says, I promise I won't win the internet today. I'll let someone else win. Awesome, Ivan. Nothing wrong with winning. We'll let somebody else win today, and I'm sure you'll win again in the future. Thank you for all the likes and subscribes. Thanks to all the new members, people who joined. I hope you find a fun community here that you're excited to watch true crime with. This is the most amazing place to watch true crime, and it's because of all of you. I appreciate you doing that. Let's play a little bit of music. It is lunchtime. I'm going to see if I can get a tiny bit of work done out in the garage. As you know, I'm doing the garage conversion. I need to pull an internet cable so that my Airbnb will have the fastest internet on the planet. That's the goal. We'll see if I get there. All right, thank you, everybody. It's been a fun day. We can't wait for the rest of the two witnesses today. We may end early today. We may have Friday off. It might be a very quick week as far as this trial goes. Hang in there. We'll find out. Watched Dr. G yesterday. I've watched some of his stuff. It's great. He's got another video dropping here soon. I think it's dropping today, he was telling me. I'm going to check the message and see where that is. But either way. Gannon's mom is Landon, not Landon. Yep, the spelling's important. Dr. Niederhauser is now on defense list. I haven't looked at it in a while. Thank you, One Man's View. Appreciate all you do for the channel. Thank you for being here. Good friend, longtime supporter. All right, it's time to go to lunch. We will see you back. We'll be back at 3 o'clock our time, which is an hour and a half. You get an hour and a half lunch, which means you can order Uber, go out to eat, whatever it is. Just be back here on time to take your seat as trial starts and waits for no man or woman even. So thank you. Those of you who are not able to come back and join us, maybe it's nighttime for you and you need a little bit of beauty rest. We understand. Just tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love, smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better. And please stay safe till we go live again. 3 o'clock this afternoon. Thank you. We'll see you then.